Is that what we're doing? Oh, you were eating FroYo.
I'm pretending to eat our invisible
Louise.
FroYo. Yeah.
Oh, I see how it goes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Happy birthday,
dear Scott. Happy birthday.
I always fuck it up. Hey, thank you. Would you believe me if I said I legitimately didn't know?
Good.
Oh, shit.
Just
gonna break all
why was he born so beautiful? Okay, no.
Why was he born at all?
Do you enjoy the flavor of wax?
No.
Blow out your fucking candles.
But don't give us germs.
Give us germs.
Way too fucking late for that.
Family bubble. It looks like it. So there you go. Happy
you.
non-Froyo, but Froyo.
Yay!
Oh, wait, there's...
Would you like Fro stuff for us?
Well, I'm happy with whatever. I don't care.
We have Fro.
Thank you,
but it's
Dio.
not Yo.
Yo.
Hello.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going
This
to
is
Fro
gonna
the Yo.
I turned off my mic.
Well,
Do you need something from somewhere that I can get you? Okay. Okay.
Hello. Oh, no, I forgot I needed it again. Yay!
So, in case you haven't noticed, this isn't actually Age of Empires.
Oh, no, correct, yeah.
Womp, womp.
Unless you consider this, like, relationship that the four of us have to be a sort of empire of dirt, or perhaps an empire of...
that a hurt reference?
of dirt.
I just say empire and I think dirt, yeah. Odd, isn't it?
I will make you hurt.
Well, Luke, so the thing is, like, I didn't expect more snacks because we just got through having dinner and other snacks from you. So, there you go. I had some anyway.
Hello.
Yep.
You can tell that it's different because I didn't zip up my jacket and I'm wearing glasses. This is to show the passage of time.
Right. We're having sort of, instead of a montage, we're kind of
Have
doing
some
it.
Fro.
The tags and the title should be updated now, though.
There.
Yeah, you can reload if you need
So
to.
for those of you who still...
Kunku Fenris, you don't get to fucking tell me what to do.
My empire of dirt.
Do people mind if I have one? Just kidding. I am going to have one. Would you like one? Would everybody?
Also,
Your birthday, you pick.
Yeah, you pick. And then maybe...
I don't
yourself
sing the
while
Johnny
you eat one.
Cash version.
We'll go around the circle.
And introduce ourselves, yeah.
I sing the original.
Too late.
Oh, no.
So this is matcha
Mochi.
mochi. Well, no, it wasn't matcha. There was another one that was matcha. And I didn't get it. Mochi ice cream.
Oh, cool.
Yes, it is Empire shit. I'm sorry. I'm saying if I actually was going to fuck everything,
What?
I quit.
Okay.
Kunku Fenris is telling me what to do.
Oh, okay. Bad Kung Fu Fenris. You can only tell John what to do while you're playing Parsifal.
He's Santa Claus. Arr. Yar. He's Pirate Santa. Is that fair to say? Pirate Santa?
Pirate Santa.
Hurt is a song that I actually like quite a bit.
Sure.
And it's a problem because every time it's referenced on Reddit, I know exactly what's going to happen. Someone's going to post, like, the Johnny Cash version is the best one. Someone's going to post, Trent Reznor doesn't even think it's his song anymore. Someone's going to post the whole, like, it's like somebody was with my girlfriend quote that he made. Not realizing, of course, that all of these things are taken out of context and it's okay to like both versions of the fucking song.
No. It's the internet. Everything must be spoken in absolutes.
Exactly. I absolutely love this.
Only a
And
Sith.
these fucking people.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So what were you going to say?
We are
Only a
fucking
Sith.
people.
Only a
Oh,
Sith
these
steals an
fucking,
episode.
not fucking these. Damn it. So close.
I'm reaching for my cards, but I don't actually need them. I'm good. Yeah, green card. There it is. Well, not yet, Celtic knots. I've had a few Celtic knots in my day. On pieces of clothing and so on. That's not... Never mind. You know what?
Yeah, it really was pretty perfect timing, Luke.
Hmm?
The arrival of the Pacage.
Yeah,
College.
it's true. I didn't know that that was a UK kid birthday party staple. I well, of course I didn't. Despite having British relatives, I know like literally nothing about about the place.
So you say that Celtic knots. Once upon a time, I drove to my family home and encountered my family, who asked me why I was carrying a bag from a hardware store. To which I said, "Oh, I just bought a lot of rope." And they were like, "Why rope?" I said, "Well, it's a very specific rope that I needed to get. I had to make sure that it was an appropriate rope so that I could make sure that I could tie my friends up with it." And it was for Liz.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
Whole
Yeah.
lot of nylon rope.
I had to quickly go through
I was
my
also
various
trying. I can't really
For
remember.
Tristan?
to be honest.
the various possibilities and landed on the most
Matthew?
likely
Oh
scenario.
yes.
So, and the noose.
Yikes. Yikes.
To answer what this is, they're donuts.
Yay.
They're little
mini-
mini donuts. That are
Donuts.
vegan.
They can make them vegan or not.
They can make them vegan, gluten-free, nut-free, allergen-free. They're great. They're fabulous.
Well, if they're vegan, they're also gluten-free and nut-free,
No.
no,
isn't it?
Oh, for them, yes, they have the triple threat, which is all.
yeah,
of
the triple
those.
threat is all, but that's not these. Those are
Yeah.
the baked ones that are the triple threat.
'Kay.
I know way too much about donuts.
It's a good.
I know way too much about rope, apparently, according to my parents.
Son, there's a few things you need to know about rope. Everything that you just said is not part of that category.
I mean, my dad did teach me how to like tie a few knots.
Oh, sure.
That was for like mooring a ship.
I was in the Boy Scouts of Canada as well.
Were you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What rank did you get to? Queen Scout?
Sorry.
Are you a Queen Scout?
I was not a Queen Scout. I Beavers, Cubs, Scouts. The thing is, John, if you know
Yeah.
me and you know how I like to play games, I was a badge-o-holic. I was there just for the badges, basically.
Yeah, you were achievement whore.
Gotta catch
That
them
is
all.
correct. That's actually.
I gotta get my Achievemos.
Dad, help me cook an egg. I gotta get this cheap. Fuck.
The rope was used because I had to lasso someone and then tie them to a chair while wearing a camo onesie and a giant red wig.
A two-wig red wig.
A two
Yes, it was a
wig
double
red
wig.
wig
Can
and red
confirm.
cowboy boots.
Yep.
Yeah. Art. Hashtag art.
And I was there to make sure that she didn't actually hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I think I succeeded in
I am here for the food.
I don't think there were any injuries on that set.
Nope, we were safe as hell.
That's kind of safe.
Ask Fileds McWilds what I had to do with them.
Whoa. Actually, we probably will when we next see them. Cheers to the end of season 2 of
To sortilège.
Sortilège and those who drink water.
Yep.
This is the end of ExalTwitch Academy season 2.
Oh, Terraria for Life. Boy Scouts is actually originally British. It's not American.
Mhm. But yeah, so there is a Scouts of Canada or whatever it's called.
Oh, there will be a safety talk. Don't worry.
We need safety when we're talking. Just chilling.
Not yet.
We actually preface all of our conversations as friends with
I
the safety
can't wait to
talks
whip
as
out a
well.
green card or a yellow card like in public with someone who doesn't understand what the system is, and I'll be like,
Green
"Excuse me, I
card.
need to make you aware of something." Like,
I don't think that the Boy Scouts of Canada still exists anymore. I think now it's just Scouting Canada.
Scouting
They've
Canada.
Scouts or
merged.
guides or something.
Yeah, there's no
Wouldn't it be
longer.
more scoot?
Hey.
Scoot and
So like
Canada.
there's no longer a separation
no, I'm pretty sure you're right.
gender wise.
There was certainly, but now,
Yeah.
yeah.
It used to be.
I was in Sparks, brownies and Girl Guides.
I like how
I was bad at everything.
I wasn't in them.
Damn.
I wasn't flexible enough to do ballet as a
I'm
4-year-old.
sorry.
I
Who says to a 4-year-old you can't do ballet?
I went to t-ball practice and literally didn't put my hand up to catch the ball, so it just hit me in the face. And I think that was the end of my extracurricular activities.
And
I
then we
played
discovered
t-ball.
gaming. T-ball.
Hey, didn't we all?
And I played soccer for a while.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
TT, thank you.
Fuck soccer.
36.
Hated it.
did you? Why?
Because someone kicked the ball and it hit me in the face and it hurt so much.
There you go.
Yeah, that happened to me.
All friends, all
Whatever.
buddies.
I mean-
Blood all over my face.
Oh, God.
And then just no more.
That's
no
when
more
my
soccer
that's
after
when
that.
my mother told me that I wasn't allowed to play goalkeeper anymore, which was the position I wanted to play. But the reason she didn't want me to play it was because every time a goal came in, all the kids would just walk up to you and be like,
Nice
Oh,
job.
Yeah,
turn around.
it was
no
your fault.
catch.
Because you were the goal's this fucking big. You're this fucking big, and they're all like, it's your fault. Like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, somehow it's my fault. Exactly.
I played rugby for a while.
Eat more.
I vastly preferred rugby over football, which I also played briefly and wish I hadn't.
Hope you're all strapping yourselves in because this is the next.
I
2.5
dislocated my
hours.
elbow playing badminton once. Ouch. Someone hit, high school, you put up the nets. No one ever bothers to tie the bottom of the net. Except for this one day, someone tied the bottom of the net really tight. So I was going to duck under the net, and I clipped it, and I just, boop, fell back onto my elbow. Dislocated.
Ow! I played Go Fish, Requiem. Same. I played Hearts, actually. A lot.
Not
We've
on
never
the
played
computer.
Hearts.
It was a Heart Shark.
I used to play Hearts quite a bit too.
Nice.
I played it on the computer.
I played both.
I bet you
Yes.
I bet
really
you
liked
cast
Hearts.
Black Maria like a.
Literally,
I don't remember it enough, but
I
was
had
so
already
obsessed.
hurt myself so many times in gym that initially the gym teacher was like, okay, whatever, go sit on the bench. Until eventually I was like, no, these don't match anymore.
Oh my god.
It was not good.
Jesus.
Sports and I, not friends.
You guys are good to carry this episode while I eat, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
You've
whatever.
got 4
It's your
more
fucking
donuts to
birthday,
get
son.
through. And then like a bag of, I mean, they stay okay. You can take those home or not.
Oh,
Are you enjoying your desserts?
yes,
Keep
very
going,
much.
honestly, eat as many as you want.
I will. Just give me a sec to digest. Please,
Jesus.
I'm so full.
They aren't gonna leave
Keep
you.
eating.
This is the Froyo.
Woo!
Papa.
What is the Froyo? Elizabeth.
It's like a post-mortem. The corpse of our campaign lies before us. We've got all our
Oh.
tools, and we're about to slice it open and see what we
Woof.
can find.
Now the difference, of course, is that a season might be dead, but its progeny may live on, as opposed to what Liz is implying, which is that you can never return to it because it's dissected.
I mean,
Could bring it back.
have you ever like
Frankenstein it?
have you ever witnessed an autopsy? If you're doing an autopsy, you have to wear like a ton of personal protective equipment. And so that's why we have our own protective equipment.
Ah,
Hey.
We got these puppies.
bam.
And these will actually still apply even though this is a Froyo and we're not actually playing today. This does make a difference. The green card, also known as the play card, means everything's all good. We're all happy. And no matter what I look like externally, I am enthusiastically consenting to this and ready to go. The yellow card, also known as the pause card, as long as this is held up, play's got to stop because I have something to say. Once I put this card down, play can continue. The red card, though, means stop. We have to stop playing. We have to organize amongst ourselves what we have to do to make things right, and only when everybody is ready to go can the game continue. Thing is, we got these cards and you don't. Or maybe you do. Maybe you're sitting there with your little cards, but we can't see them because we don't have a camera in your living room yet. Therefore, if you need help, there are things that you can do. You can whisper RPGClinic, in which case we'll see it and we can try to see if we can arrange something for you. You can also whisper a moderator right now. That is Bleeds the Light Invincible, Kung Fu Fenris, who is there ready to help you out, if need be. But no matter what, you can always leave the stream and chat. We don't necessarily want to see you go, but we do think that you should prioritize your mental health and well-being. An Ellie spot depends on the autopsy, but sure. I mean,
Okay, doctor, like get all actual medical like education.
I thought that in Canada you had to be wearing protective equipment if you were like working with a corpse.
I would assume so, but like I don't actually know.
I mean,
Maybe that means like in Sweden, like they're just like, we don't care. They're the bad,
they're dead already.
the bad boys and girls
you
of medicine.
can't hurt
Ellie
them.
Spot, please confirm.
I like to think it's
Bad
done
boys
with
and
boxing
girls of
gloves.
Yeah, gloves are
Gloves are advised.
Doctors in Sweden are just like, the only thing that you need are sunglasses and a bad attitude.
Aren't
Let's
there like
go.
gases pent up in the body? There's no
Yeah,
like spurt
certainly.
stuff on you. Wouldn't you want to have like a gown and like stuff so that you
I
don't
certainly
get
would
like
want to.
dead body goop in your mouth?
They just use like a shield.
Sonic Terraria for Life. If I had access to Sonic right now, I would get some tots, and I would give those tots to Kate.
Oh.
Then I would order a cherry limeade and drink the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. That's one of the things I miss the most about living in the
Well,
States.
when we eventually go on a road trip.
Road trip.
To the southern United States.
Yeah, we're going to go on a long
RPG
road
Clinic
trip.
On the road?
And when we go to PookCon
We're coming with you.
2022,
Pukan. It's not a thing. Or is it Pukajutsu?
we're making it a thing. If we all just show up.
Yeah.
Spot's ruining my dream of Swedish, like, rebel doctors.
Rebel doctors. That autopsy was metal as fuck.
The Pacific Northwest is longer for us to get to than the southern United States, actually.
Very far.
Fair,
Get
at
to
least
Florida.
East to
fair,
west
fair.
in this continent.
Big continent.
It's a
I
big.
kind of really want to go to Sweden now so that I could just be like, go to a hospital.
Be like
Excuse me, sir. Who are you?
peanut
I think I
gallery
am.
in a
I'm a
hospital.
fucking doctor. Let him in.
God.
Your autopsies, please.
If I go to Texas, you'll take me for barbecue. That is one of the best places.
And Requiem will buy us a beer.
Sweet.
I'll take all of them. Sorry,
sounds
some of
good.
these people drink beer.
We just
some-
need,
some of
we
us drink
just need
beer.
an RPG Clinic van. We can drive around.
Arizona, I know exactly which A&W you're talking about. It looks like there would still be people on roller skates because it's just this like old school
nice.
A&W.
Nice.
A&W's incredibly popular in Canada and
Yeah.
not as it's like really fallen off in the States.
My dad built a cabin.
Smoking is advised. Oh, well, I'm out.
Jesus.
In America, we say viewer discretion
It's
is
okay.
advised.
Scott will take the beers. I'll take the cigarettes. John will take the root beer and barbecue, and Liz will
Take the sunglasses?
Nice.
They've been claimed?
Sold.
Take them.
Naff naff.
Ellie Spot, you just made my day. Thank you.
It's actually fantastic. So, this was all because we were describing FroYos as autopsies. This
Sorry
is where
about
this
that.
came from. No, I just...
I really needed a segue because I blew the earlier one.
I
Because there was a perfect
safety
one and I
worked out.
just...
Speaking
Oh,
of
did you
blowing
actually?
things, you don't want to blow your...
We just did the safety cards.
Oh,
What the hell?
Oh, this is still up.
Oh, jeez.
The
yeah, I don't know. Our
the
bot
info
isn't,
boxes
like,
stopped
closing
wanting
them.
to...
It's okay.
close
We're just
down.
going to take them out back and make them need an autopsy. When we move into our next
Goddamn.
season.
Where did we get lucky?
But I mean, today we're going to be talking about season 2 of ExalTwitch Academy. What we liked, what we didn't like, questions from you, which there's a bunch on the Discord in the ExalTwitch Academy spoilers channel already. Like a lot. We're probably going to be doing some other fun games, game-like stuff, and then what else?
Well,
We're
we'll see.
talking about what's coming up too.
What's the deal with...
What's up with you being all like organized and on the ball? It's your birthday. You're supposed to be like whatever. No, that's
Yeah.
your like
I realize,
happy place.
yeah, as I grow older, I realize I get a lot of joy out of putting things to right. So I spent a good amount of today being like,
I'm spending a lot of time with John because he really needs that shit.
oh!
I want you to have joy to put it to
Thank you.
right.
You can't just knock my shit over.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just reminded of the X-Files episode with the vampire.
Oh,
Remember that episode, right?
I don't remember. I'm sure I've seen it.
Like, basically, Scully, it's either Mulder or Scully, like, spills sunflower seeds everywhere, and the vampire's like, ah, and then has to bend down and pick
Oh,
them
that's
up.
actually really funny.
That would be Scott.
For sure. I am alive.
Holy shit, feature.chat got changes, and now there's, like, a suggestion queue for Q&A.
What?
Oh.
What?
Okay, well, but we're gonna like try to use it, and we're gonna like fuck it up, and it's gonna be like flying down, from the diagonal corner, and like off the screen, and you'll
So-
like be able to read. Anyway,
Really? Wow. All these things.
So if I do
Yee.
this, I'm going to try it.
There's so
I'm
many
going to see
things.
what happens if
Ooh,
I do
thanks.
this.
But yeah, please
Yeah.
let us know in the
So
chat.
if
Oh, yeah.
if you start your post with a Q and a space, it will automatically put it into our Q&A list,
Oh.
and we can pull it.
That's what you meant.
Monstrous.
That's
yeah.
great.
So start if you put a Q and a space before, like you see how I put Q test,
Mm.
that way you'll be able to put a question in there, and we'll be able to throw it out there for you.
There are a bunch that have been posted to the Discord as well already from people who can't make it today.
Terraria for Life, that worked, but
God
showing "Am I first" doesn't really help us a whole lot.
And yet, now you all see what it looks like.
Hey, you go. It's good.
So now you'll see what it'll look like, but that's not really as helpful. So why don't we dig into the Discord?
Oh, excuse me.
If I have Discord open, which I should. Where is it? Discord was open. Fuck. Everything's going wrong.
That is a really good question, honestly.
What is important?
I liked
Why
group
did
mentions.
we
you-
get
questions.
That wasn't smart ass, because I was very much going to be like, Q. What up?
Cute.
You up?
You
Thank
you up.
What up? You up?
Yeah, I
Where
liked
did
Grouper
we
mentions.
get lucky?
Like, where did it go well? Where did it go poorly? Where did you all get lucky?
Where do we
At the House of Bells, on a boat, on another boat, in the woods.
Many lucks were had. Sorry, did I say lucks? Because I meant B.
Fucks. What is love?
Oh boy.
So I'm going to start off with a question from Gillid Good, who unfortunately cannot be here, but
See you in the
did
book.
have a question to ask. How did you like Essence as a system for play and for streaming?
Foreplay. And for streaming.
Yeah, very important.
Very important.
Sorry.
Sorry. oh, they want me to comment on it.
By the way, if you put questions in the Discord, but you happen to be on chat right now, feel free to put the Q in the chat here, and it'll automatically get added for us. So
I can answer that question.
yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
I liked the idea of Essence a lot more than I liked Essence. In terms of this stream, I think that has a bunch of potential reasons behind it. We ported characters over.
Mhm.
They felt like they were created in one system and then were brought into another system because they were,
Ah.
which was a bit strange. I like the idea of how Essence works in terms of simplifying and streamlining things, but I felt like I missed some of the resource usage that we had in third because that's what we were used to. Did I steal everyone else's points? Because that was the intention.
Not all of mine, but
Good. That's me.
I definitely, having played, even without the porting, having played EX3 significantly, it was very difficult, especially with the quick turnaround, to go to a completely different but similar version. If I hadn't played EX3 recently or ever, I think it would be a lot easier.
Yes, that is true, actually.
Even things like, Ox body is slightly different. Mode of discerning technique, iron skin concentration, excellent strike. Like, these all existed as charms in EX3, but they were all entirely different as far as what they do.
Yeah, that was almost the hardest thing,
Yeah.
is that there was a lot that was still named the same, but changed enough that you were basically relearning stuff. So it was very hard to switch from EX3 to Essence in our experience. I do think that Essence, especially when it's fully published and completed, could be a really good starting system for people who really enjoy the setting, because it's a lot more accessible than EX3 in a lot of ways. I'll say that.
I agree. I think Scott put it honestly best. I loved the idea of Essence more than I liked it in execution. And I think a large part of that is just because the manuscript's not finished yet. It was released to Kickstarter backers. It was great to have it. We actually had it in advance, slightly in advance. Thank you, Onyx Path, for that. But it's still very rough. There are issues with balance. There are issues with navigation of the document, and that's nothing against them. The reason they release the manuscript is because they want to show that, like, look, we actually have a product here.
Yeah,
and
to
it
Kickstarter,
did.
of course. It's great.
But the
Yeah.
product is absolutely not ready for general release.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just
Hence
like
why it's being Kickstarted, right? Like,
unformatted
yeah.
document. And it's something that I've been finding even with other properties, just like having a little table in the corner that's like, these are the stats you need, is just so valuable.
yeah.
agreed.
It proves that proofreaders, editors, and layout artists are extremely important for your product. And if you are considering making an RPG, you have to get those people on board,
Mm-hmm.
because just a straight document is not the way that people can most easily absorb information. The other thing is, as a general rule, I don't like it when people port characters from one game to another. I tend to feel like they come with baggage. I tend to feel that you are disappointed when thing doesn't work out the way that you envisioned it. I find that often players will take a character from one game and put them in another, and they have all these built-up expectations that can't possibly be satisfied because it's a different game. And then I went ahead and suggested this, and the issue is, I was like, but they're the same characters, and it's the same setting and the same system. Well, it's not the same system. And that ended up being a problem, because characters didn't feel the same.
Yeah.
And so there was this dissonance there. And then the idea was, okay, well, do we switch back? Well, but then half the campaign was done one way, half of it was done the other. There's no way to win in that respect. So it is a lesson for me that I don't like porting characters, and I don't think I'd recommend it again.
Mm-hmm.
I could see us working possibly in the same universe, but saying you have to play new characters. But even then I'd wonder, because then you'd be like, well, this used to be possible and now it isn't. Or now this is possible and it wasn't, the previous session.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some questions in there.
Could I ask you to put back in?
We can't see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here, do you want me to?
Well, it's just like, I think there's something you're doing that whenever
I had
you click
moused over
into a
some.
window, it
I'm
keeps
gonna do
disappearing.
that.
Perfecto. Thank you.
Because then you'll be able to see more of the chat.
Hey.
So Essence, I think, is something that we are going to be able to recommend.
Oh yeah.
But when it's out.
Yeah.
When
it's done.
released. When it's
I
done.
would love to recommend it to people who have played a good amount of, say, D&D. They've played something that's like quite combat focused and are hungry for a role-playing experience that also emphasizes non-combat activities.
No.
I would recommend it in a second. It feels high fantasy. It feels powered and powerful, but you can do things that aren't like hit it.
There's some parts of Essence that I really liked. Like the idea of build power is, I think, a really cool way to get other people involved in combat.
Mhm.
Not everybody has to be a combatant.
Correct.
This
Yes.
is so exciting because, I mean, all the other times we've played
True, actually.
EX3, it's sort of
Oh, you better have a combat stat.
It's like, you better have a good combat stat.
If you're a solar, right? Like, you're not going to survive if you
Yeah.
don't have a good combat stat. You're like, whoa.
I mean, there's that. I did find that combat was the way that we were playing it, at least, it felt very like binary. Either you were going to wreck face or it was going to be really hard. And I found I was getting used to adjusting the difficulty levels of the encounters, and I didn't get there.
Yeah.
But that, again, is part of not enough time with the system and a system that is still not finished. So, but I also know that our style of play tends to lend itself towards a certain amount of crunch. The trick is to find the right amount.
For a stream.
For a stream.
That's true.
It's a
Because
streamed game as well. Like, that's the other.
Yeah, that's another factor, is we can't be sitting there flipping through pages, like looking up the specific rule. We'd rather just say, okay, it's this for now.
Yeah. Even if you folks were totally cool with it and patient, it stresses us out to feel like the pace is lagging and that things aren't moving at the speed it should be. So
You may notice we all talk all the time.
as
That is
we
somewhat
have
intentional.
a crippling fear of silence.
Silence is death.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Shout out to the
There
podcast
is-
listeners.
Yeah, I'm sure the podcast listeners know every time we drop
Oh,
silence.
boy.
It's not good.
I think we do. Do people want to have questions kind of in the same sort of topic moving on, or do we want to just bounce back and forth and just answer whatever?
I'm fine with bouncing
Yeah,
around.
let's.
All right. Well, I got one here from Ellie Spot.
Bounce.
If Gale would have her way
Incredible.
and marry each of you off to houses not represented in the hearth, which NPC would you pick?
Pyres with Rose Black for sure.
Oh,
Yep.
which NPC would you pick? Oh, you, Gale. I understand. My
Ah,
apologies.
You have no say in this.
Wow,
This
I
is
really
my
assumed it was
question.
you, the collective. My apologies.
No.
Please go ahead.
Visually.
And she's with
Tibet.
Tapet, yeah.
Yes,
So
Shosoku.
I think Flavienne and Oresta can. I know they're not represented in the hearth, but I still would recommend that Flavienne and Oresta get married, because then we've got some Pelops here. Flavian's going to be thrown into the limelight a little bit, so that's exciting.
We're not mad at it.
She fucks.
But there's also Brevin for the Regara thing, so I could also have Brevin marry Oresta.
Broresta.
Yo, Oresta!
And she would never forgive me. And Quick Rat is who? Sorry, is with what house again?
I don't remember.
We have
Oh, Ellie Spot meant that you all get to pick. So you
we get to pick.
No, it's too late.
It's too
Too
late.
late. I'm with the Rose Black now. Thanks.
You
That's
knew
2
that was my
centuries.
plan.
I don't-
Come on.
I don't have
Quick
a
Rat?
button for Quick
Oh,
Rat.
he
Fuck
might
yeah.
be Kathak.
All right.
So then Quick Rat can't marry anyone, unfortunately.
Rat
because we need to
is
forge
no
alliances.
way.
What the fuck is this bullshit? What do you mean?
Hashtag Forge and Alliances. Regar is a good show.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Yes, please yeet your cues in, Kung Fu Fenders. Just
Those cute.
Definitely someone's marrying Brevin.
just
It
throw
might
them in.
have to be.
They're automatically being put in a list, and that's easier for me to do it than copying and pasting from Discord.
I would split our house in half, and I would never interact with him. Ever.
But
Ever.
please, one question per line. Don't put all your
Kathak.
questions in one big post.
Sorry, Quick Rat. Not
Sorry,
sorry.
Quick Rat.
Not sorry.
We've
You
got our
get for being-
priorities.
Any rebuttals from the two of you?
I mean, the Rose Black certainly isn't someone Pyres would choose for himself.
Okay, fine. I will.
Yay!
I'm into it.
Dunk.
I don't know. A political marriage,
You just
specifically,
I
right?
mean, you could just marry the
You
Scarlet
could marry
Empress.
Brevin as well.
No, I don't think that would go well for
Scarlet
anybody.
Empress, Scarlet Empress.
So Thanatos wants to marry Quick Rat.
Rock on.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Celtic
Do you like
nuts.
steak?
Gail understands the assignment.
Oh, I like
Okay,
meat.
just saying.
What?
Yeah, exactly. She met the brief. She exceeded the brief. Oh boy. Yeah. I don't really have a rebuttal, actually. I'm trying to think of other NPCs we met from other houses that I can name that'd be like, oh, this would be advantageous. There were a number of Sinus characters, and Pyres had for a long time. There was one of his only ties was to House Sinus, like a little minor tie, but I don't think Siontel. I don't think that would work out. Juin, I don't think so either.
Nemen Sepe? Would Gil arrange something with him?
Sepe. Oh, Sepe.
Nemen would fucking
Oh.
hate Gale, by the way.
Oh,
sounds
yeah,
right.
of course. But that's just again, it's a dynastic marriage.
I
Like
do
that's
miss
just
Single
it
Edge.
just comes with the
That's right, yeah,
territory.
you're right.
Yeah, maybe Flavian and Sepe.
As we answer these questions, I should point out this campaign is not officially over.
Forever.
It's officially on hiatus with the possibility of not getting renewed.
Yeah.
Um,
On extended hiatus of probably 6 months to a year to
Yeah.
many years.
a while. Because we have another campaign planned, and then there are other games that we're interested in playing, but who knows, we might come back to it. Exalted is still a game that we really enjoy.
Yeah.
So there are certain questions that I won't answer. If they are questions about something that could potentially matter in terms of plot, I'm not going to answer them yet because they may still come up. I apologize that I can't be
Sorry, not sorry.
that revealing about everything.
Ooh.
Because I'll do my best though. Feel free to ask.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can't hurt anything by asking, but you may get hurt when I tell you that we are never, ever, ever
Getting back
back
together.
Grubermensch, an early question. Where did we get lucky?
Cheers. We got lucky that that dude from season 2, episode 1 never cottoned on to our plan. The guy who was hosting the party, whose name I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Seru? Senu?
Mhm.
Seru sounds right to me.
Seru.
Sarah,
That's where we got lucky. We got lucky that whole thing went off okay,
relatively hitchless.
and then were never pursued by a relatively powerful dynast.
We stole a lot from him.
Shout out to Gilly Good for updating the wiki because
Thanks,
they're all
Gilly Good.
here.
Yay!
They're all here.
Oh, yeah, Ellie Spa, there you go. You seem like the type to hold a grudge for that long. I like it.
Respect.
Respect.
Total respect.
Where did we get lucky? I don't know. Anyone else have any thoughts about that?
I mean, we lucked out that we lucked out to trust Juin and Siantel and not have that blow up in our faces.
Yes.
I would say.
Lucked out in the second to last episode where Oresta botched, went down, and turned it around in her favor.
What did you botch? Oh, yeah.
I botched something up
Bracken.
in the room, and then it was like, you're going to go down and have to talk to Bracken and poison her. And I made it work.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that luck. I'd actually call that skill.
It worked real well.
It was luck for the campaign because I was like, oh!
Oh, I do have another answer for where we got lucky. The fact that we could game in the same room.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing that happened to benefit the stream. There's an amazing lighting and camera and sound setup in here now, which we just couldn't do when we were streaming separately. And then the quality of the roleplay is just better for us when we're all in the same room.
10,000 agrees.
They're like, it's wonderful that we were able to continue through the pandemic and the lockdowns. Like, it was a rock in the middle of an ocean of uncertainty to have those Sundays. At the same time, that like half-second kind of delay and like audio ducking going on, it just, when you're used to being in the same room with people, it sucks to not have.
It really does.
Especially when you consider that for us, this is a large part in a game, but it is also a performance. And for the four of us, I hope that you're still talking to us in 2025.
Yeah, seriously, I hope
memory can sometimes creep.
He only needed you by then,
See you in
jeez.
2025.
We do consider this as a performance as well. Like part of our fun, or at least part of my fun in putting into this, is being able to put on a show that I feel that I'm proud of. Balancing that with putting on a show that I can only spend a certain amount of time on. And the lag inherent with adding telecommunication and the tech barrier makes it so that it's less of an interesting show. It's a lot different if you're just on Zoom or Discord or whatever, and you're talking with people and there's a delay in terms of a game. I'd still find it frustrating, but it's less frustrating than when I'm also like, oh, but we've got people watching.
Yeah.
And we're recording this for posterity and uploading it to YouTube where it will remain for eternity.
Yeah.
So there is something like that I think sort of locks into my mind as well.
Kung Fu Fenris does have a point that we had discussed. Well, businesses are allowed to operate in person, so if we form an official business within Quebec or Canada, we can be in the same space. But we decided that we prioritized, safety and health regulations. So yeah.
Terraria for Life mentions, I understand that completely. I don't see my STing as a performance, but I do find STing an art form, and an art form I can actually do.
There you go.
STing is design, it's narration, it's storytelling. It is, for some people, performance. It's a lot of things to a lot of different people. And the important thing is that it's fun for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm a professional, damn it. All right, Kung Fu Fender has a lot of aggro questions, so I'm just gonna start diving into
Why
it.
doesn't he?
Let's do it. Let's bring it.
So here. By the way, that's okay, Kung Fu Fenders. Just trust me. If I don't want to answer a question, I won't. It's all good.
Yeah.
I feel this might be a silly question. It's just my brain being a silly hyperfocus ADHD. But when did the realm get that much French bread? Crepes and baguettes? In my mind, I had some dissonance due to it being very real-life Occidental/Western food. But is it something more along the lines of y'all being raised on this being the food of empires?
Damn, that's like analyzing the fuck out of us, just being like, bread is delicious. What's delicious bread?
Yeah, I feel like it genuinely didn't cross our
Baguettes.
minds. It was just like we were all just like, yeah, baguettes.
If someone had made a reference to a type of food that I had never had before, I'd be like, "What's that?" And it would like it would ruin the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find some common cultural ground. At least I am anyway.
I'd be tempted to say I'm using language that everyone can understand, or that most of our audience can understand, and therefore to help that along. And I think to a certain degree that's true, but I also think to a certain degree I just didn't care.
You also made Flavienne French.
Flavienne.
Oh, that's true.
She had
So
a
there's
French
that too. I mean,
accent.
she had a French
It is.
accent.
Yeah.
So just
Um,
baguette.
But in a lot of cases, for something that I don't consider important, I don't. And I totally understand that for some people that's going to be frustrating.
Yeah.
I completely understand. I have to use shorthand. Our sessions do not last that long. And I don't have time to explain every individual thing because it's not just these three who have to understand me, it's everyone else. So.
You may also notice we never use currency in these games.
Yup.
Because I forget
hate
every
everything.
time.
That's it. Like,
Every goddamn
well, how
time.
much is a bit?
Uh,
How much is an oboe? Like, it's like a
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
We just, I don't know.
Yeah. But also it's the film thing of like if you have groceries, there's going to be baguette sticking out
That's
of
a good
it. So
point.
if you're like, she has a loaf of bread, to me, the filmic loaf of bread is a baguette.
That's very
It's like
true.
iconic.
Bag it.
Rather than like,
Bag it.
you know, a ciabatta or a country loaf or a Russian.
It's totally legit. And also, part of the reason why I say that some of your questions are aggro is because I think that there are certain things that you're asking because they're things you wouldn't do Kung Fu Fenris, and it's totally legit. Some of these things I would not do again. I make mistakes.
Rossini.
But
It's like a
yeah.
breadstick,
Mm.
kind of like a.
Okay.
I like this question. Siontel's mom. I don't know
Question
what
mark?
this means.
I think this is like,
Some
The
people
woman-
believe that Siontel's mother is the Scarlet Empress.
well, we know that's not true. We know that she was the woman. Yeah, because we know what the Scarlet Empress looks like,
Do it
Do we?
don't we?
in this.
Do
universe?
we? Like the three of us, I mean?
Isn't there art about her?
Oh, probably.
Yeah,
Oh
but art
yes,
is art.
yes.
And people's
What do you
appearances
mean?
can change.
Oh, John, Kung Fu Fenris clarified. Question mark.
Question mark.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Because that was confirmed that Santel's mom was the woman who showed up.
Well, that's what she said.
Yeah, that's Grassini.
Mm.
Yeah.
Vive is always Vive.
Delicious.
It's always
Looks good. Disguising.
You know, if anyone can confirm this, it's probably Ellie's spot.
So Celtic Knot says, on the point of baguettes, there are times when you said it sounded an awful like the pronunciation of a gay slur.
Yeah.
oh.
So we would obviously never
Jesus.
use terminology like that.
No, and because we're anglophones in a French place, we just say baguette, but we say it in an anglophone pronunciation.
But that's a fair.
Well,
I wish this had been flagged.
we also have a
before the
friend who's
trial.
very fond of saying baguette in different ways because he had a dog named
called
Baguette. So he had all sorts of nicknames for her, and
Baggers.
some of it is what we are
Yeah.
copying. In no way were we attempting that, but we appreciate. I mean, I appreciate you mentioning it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not in any way trying to.
I'm so sorry.
You feel free to flag that with us.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, please do.
Because then we will make the effort to say
The
baguette.
dog's name was Baguette because Baguette was a dachshund
Yeah.
Yes,
There's
and
a long stick.
resembled one.
and resembled a baguette. I absolutely adored
Vive.
Baguette.
Vive,
I loved
okay.
Baguette.
we were
It is Vive.
we were back and forth. We were.
But the thing is, in French, it's Geneviève.
Geneviève, yeah.
So that's why we're like Vive or Vieve.
It does
they
get
do.
anglicized to
Yeah.
Genevieve as well, right? Like I say.
Uh,
Your dog, Sissa.
Your dog.
We'll come back to more aggro Kung Fu Fenris questions later.
Yay!
So let's go for one from Luke. What is love?
Wow.
Baby, don't hurt me.
That's-
No, I mean Pyres. Where does Pyre? What would Pyres answer at this time?
Right now,
Yeah, like if he was asked that at this point in the campaign.
it's a he would say it's a strong, undeniable feeling that you don't want to be far from somebody. That's how he would phrase it. So he doesn't love Brevin for that
Yeah.
reason because he doesn't want to be near him all the time.
Yeah, they're like magnets that like repel. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Failed to send the message.
Oh, I'll have to send it from another window. That's
No,
fine.
we're not. Yeah. Ay. Good stuff.
Uh,
Oh, it's good. Good question.
love is a battlefield.
Excuse me.
So Requiem Lost
Questions?
asks, what was your biggest oh shit surprise moment?
Oh, I need to go get my notes. I'm gonna be right back.
To the
with my
notes.
notebook
Yeah.
Because I'm sure I have an answer.
Mm.
No oh shit moments.
Plenty.
No,
I'm
there
sure,
are.
but,
I'm
like
sifting.
Sifting.
Yeah.
snifting, if you will.
Sifting.
Sifting.
A
I feel
snifter
like
of brandy.
I just feel like I'm gonna have like something that's written in caps, spend XP. That's like the biggest. It's like this big on my page. That's not a no shit moment.
I mean, it could be.
Same
certainly is.
poison. The fact when it was confirmed that it was the same poison used way back season 1 on Juin and on
Leanne.
Oh,
Santel.
and Leanne.
And on Leanne, yeah. So I have,
That was bananas.
I can tell by the font size.
I know what my biggest oh shit moment was.
I'm gonna say in the third to last episode when Zindel was pushed off the rooftop.
Yeah,
I
I'll go
was
with that one
really shocked.
Yeah.
And not that I was like, oh, we'll be able to meet this NPC and everything will be fine. It's not that. It was just so incredibly callous and like out of nowhere. It was wild. It was exciting. I was like, oh, I see. I see what's happening here. Yeah, that's what I would say.
I was gonna say that, but now I will also say that the Seven Fingers twist was Nutso too.
Yeah.
My biggest
got
oh shit
6
moment
fingers
was
for it
when
right
you let Leanne die.
yeah. Fair.
That was the one. Okay. Here I will confirm something for you. Shall
Mhm.
I'll give something. That was the one Sidereel that you encountered.
Oh, that's actually quite a big something.
Yeah.
The
So
only one who you encountered, and I put the symbol out there knowing that there was going to be some meta knowledge in there.
yeah.
If not from you, the chat absolutely would flag it, and they did.
Yeah.
And then you let her die.
Yeah.
I think it was a perfectly legitimate play. I think that was a great I was so happy that it happened. But I was like, oh shit, they're not actually going to try to talk to the fucking Sidereel. And part of me wondered whether it was like they were just like, oh no, kill it.
No.
He's gonna start playing the music again.
I guess to me that wasn't oh shit because it was like the scope of the episode and there was a lot of thinking going on quietly in the background of I want like Kate and even some of Oresta wants to fix this, but where Oresta is right now just feels so betrayed and so like this is wrong. I have to do the thing that I'm supposed to do. But it was like too slow for an oh shit.
It was a great moment
Mm-hmm.
for me, and a lot of great moments. The other oh shit moment that I can have is when I had 2 PCs actually decide to become romantically involved, which is a great moment for me because it happened when I wanted it to. Okay, let me rephrase that. It didn't happen when I didn't want it to.
Right.
I don't like having PCs in relationships at the start of a game.
Yeah.
Because then it's way too easy to make anyone else at the table feel like a third or fourth or fifth wheel. Because it actually, even unintentionally so, because then you start turning inwards on the relationship to explore it. That's why I also try to make sure that relationships that I introduce don't happen right away. And when they do, I always am conscious of I can spend this amount of time on the relationship before I have to cut away and go back to other things. And players don't have that responsibility necessarily baked in their heads. Now, these do. I got great players. They understand what the fuck's going on. But you didn't hook up until I was like, oh, that's interesting. So.
Gotta develop them characters before you see where they go. You know?
You should see my final pie chart.
Excuse me? What's your final front? Can I see it? Do you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, you actually do? Oh, sorry. I thought it was a euphemism.
I mean, it's itty bitty.
Oh.
Luke, I'm going to answer this one
Sliver.
quick.
So cute.
What are the differences between Sidereel and Anathema? I thought they were one and the same, so they had met several. So Anathema are all exalted who are not dragon-blooded.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like the umbrella.
They are considered to be bad
The
things.
thing is,
Europeans.
dragon-blooded
Are
don't know
Anathema?
about Sidereals for the most part, so they're not considered Anathema because they're not known. They just don't know about them. But when Leanne was brought out, she was in a state of animal, like her anima was leaking out. She was iconic, and therefore they were like, well, she's exalted and we don't know what it is, so she's Anathema.
Yeah.
Kate likened Anathema to the Europeans, which
Luke-
I understand what you was a
I
collective
think we
noun. I
understand what you were going for. It's just
And then I said it, and I was
Just
like,
went-
ooh. I'm just going to jump in because I see it in chat and it's not going to take long. The chest of books was lost at the end of season 1 after the Battle of House of Bells when they had to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Books gone.
Look, all I'm saying is if we could bring a table, we could have brought a chest of books.
I know that now, okay?
You just have to be more of an asshole about it.
Anna Toasted, you are correct that sometimes they use the help of exigence and liminals. In general, they're all considered anathema.
Yeah.
And while some individuals might be like, all right, you're okay, we can't get into every nuance at all times.
Correct.
Let's go for another aggro question.
Yay!
Why was Ijava around? Because that was kind of crazy to have her pop out of the woodwork. You're in the Imperial City, you get to meet someone cool.
Damn.
Nice.
Boom.
Celebrity cameo.
And the Scarlet Empress was gone.
Celebrity cameo, and also because sometimes you want to get that shorthand into your players, and I was like, this is an important person, and because she's in the books, it's a lot easier for them to very quickly establish, oh, this is an important person, because I didn't have time to establish a really important person that would have had the same impact. So that's why I picked.
If you had brought Viren back again, I mean, how quickly would we have flipped this table? Do you think?
Look,
You can flip this table.
I
in
live
0.75
here.
seconds.
I would not enjoy having to clean up all the glass.
Fair.
I think I
Fine.
might still do it.
0.75 seconds.
Great.
Yeet.
We have a shop back.
Yeah, let's do it.
You too?
Terry for Life asks, 3, I think it's because it's a third question.
Q3.
Dragon, Solar, Lunar, what is everyone's favorite type of Exalted?
Out of those 3,
Yeah, my favorite type of Exalted is I tell you.
Mom. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. I'm gonna go home. Oh, wait, I'm home.
Swish! 3 points!
From downtown.
I'm so
Shit
sorry.
cake.
Hey, I'm saying your mom's exalted. That's
I
like
know,
a
it's
compliment,
incredible.
right?
Oh, did you? Sorry, Terry for Life. You meant other than dragons? Dragon
Oh yeah, I saw that somewhere.
Oh.
Yes, it's in Turtle, who must be Terraria for Life.
That does make sense.
Other than the base 3.
Oh, so Sidereals. then.
Okay, so other than the base.
I'm going to say Sidereals. That's what I was going to say anyway.
Exigent, because they can be anything.
Whoa.
I think abyssals, because they're spooky.
Yes.
You want to just live your goth fantasy?
Yes.
Gale Whispered? I love it.
I often
me
have a lot of
happy.
trouble. I think part of the reason why I like storytelling is because I have trouble picking. People will ask like, "What's your favorite to play?" And I'll be like, I know them all. I really like the concept of exigence being brought up in 3rd edition because I do think it's neat to be an exalted of one very specific or particular god.
Mhm.
I also think that alchemicals are pretty cool as well. Honestly, they're all really cool. Like, it's hard for me to pick. I admit that I don't have the attachment to infernals that a lot of people have, and I don't have the attachment to infernals never really caught on for me a whole lot. But also with 10 separate exalted types, you can kind of pick which ones you want.
Yeah.
Yep. Very true.
If you want to play your goth fantasy, you just have to play a Slua.
Ugh.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, my accuser. Sorry, headphone wearers.
Let's
That's
see.
fine.
Remember that if there's any other questions that you want to throw in there, you just have to put a Q in front of your post.
Are we through them?
No.
I'm like,
I'm just making sure
No
that we got
way.
people.
yeah, new.
The other thing that I would love is that if somebody could do me a favor, Gilladgood put some questions in and Kunku Fenders put some questions in. If someone could just copy and paste them in there for me, that would just help because then I don't have to do it.
Kung
Is
Fu
that-
Fenris, do
Discord.
you feel like you want to do that?
Could you do that?
It would be really appreciated.
Yeah, just because I could, but
Another
I'm
shit.
dealing with some other shit right now in my life. So Avatar of Cain asks, John mentioned a mistake or such during the Wednesday Dead Cells stream, and I was slightly curious about this in terms of what was learned for me as a storyteller. I learn something all the time. Like there are times where people have been like, "Oh yeah, he's great." I'm like, don't get me wrong, I really appreciate hearing that, and it's great. As some of our community knows, I struggle a whole lot with imposter syndrome, which I think is kind of common among everyone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
To a certain extent, yeah.
but one of the things that I've very much believe in is I never believe that I'm at a point where I can't learn. So I'm always trying to go back over what I've done and figure out what I would do next. I've already spoken about some of them, like don't port characters. I thought that was a lesson I'd learned. Oops. I also realized that I have to focus more on what I want sometimes. This is a lesson that I started learning when we were doing Edge of the Empire. We were playing Star Wars Reach. That I realized at a certain point that I wasn't enjoying it as much as I wanted to, and I raised the issue. In this one, it's not that I wasn't enjoying myself. It was that I was realizing that the system was giving me hassles. The players had already expressed displeasure on certain things, like I can't spend XP the way that I want to, and my character doesn't do shit that they
do the thing that I want to be able to do. Yeah,
and I realized that it's equally valid for me to kind of come up and say, there are things that I can't do and I want to do, or there's things that I don't understand and I don't have the answers for it. Being open about that sort of thing, instead of sort of being like, this is my problem and I have to deal with it, goes completely counter to every bit of advice that I hand out.
That is true.
So that was something that I had to focus on, that I learned in this season.
Nice.
Was when I have a problem, it's not to me to suffer quietly.
Use your word hole.
Yep. The thing is, I didn't want to convert charms, Kung Fu Fenders. I didn't want to start redesigning the wheel because I was also like, I hope that they're going to do it. I'll hope that we were trying to play it as written.
Yeah.
Right. And if we made characters fresh, we would have chosen things from what was available. It was and I think that's one of the questions that exist is something about the conversion.
Mm-hmm.
Is that we were trying to port characters that had 20 charms down to characters that had 10 charms. For me, one thing was that I had all of these I don't even remember what the ability was called. Resistance charms that was like never eat, never sleep, you can hold your breath forever, and none of these exist in Essence. And it was like, well, that clears up the fact that I'm going from 20 charms to 10, but it also means that that was kind of a defining characteristic of Oresta, is that she'd stay up all night. She didn't need to stop for food. She was like a fucking rock. And,
Mm-hmm.
And also I found that a lot of if you look at the dragon-blooded charms, they are, you are in tune with the elements broadly. So this charm is wind and this charm is earth and whatever. Whereas we were playing 3 individual aspects, so I didn't want to take anything that was fire or wind or water. I wanted the earth charms. So those were struggles that I had in the conversion.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had despite the fact that I think, from my understanding, Terrestrial Exalted are described, especially in the EX3 core, as being yes, they have a specific element with which they're associated, but they are all masters of the 5 elements. That's kind of their jam.
Yeah.
And yet I found myself loath to take there were so many close combat charms that were you whip people with water, you drown people with your grasp, stuff like that. I was like, I wouldn't take those.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's not weird. It's just it's unfortunate. I feel like I closed myself off to certain opportunities.
Aravana asks, I missed many episodes and I don't recall what happened to Oresta's chest of
so
books.
I threw this out when I saw it in chat, but at the end of season 1, at the Battle of Bells, she was busy getting all the students to leave the battleground and burying a lot of dead bodies and leaving into the sunset with her hearth to not get caught by the theoretical second wave of the army.
Yep.
So her books were forfeit. Her father forgived her.
Yeah, because he's a good guy.
I mean, then again, when they went back and they had a fucking table, maybe she did pick up her creative books if it hadn't been pillaged. Maybe she's eating them for breakfast right now.
Morale's just actually, that's how I spent a lot of my free time.
Thanks for the erotic fiction.
Yeah.
Thanks for the erotica section.
Let's go for another aggro question.
All right.
it never really seemed like we were playing a magical school type of story, as from the start, it was a lot more about a great conspiracy. What prompted me to take that angle on the story?
John?
When I realized that playing out classes would be boring is kind of what it came down to. I had plans at the start where I would ask people to record the last 2 minutes of a lecture and send them in so that like people could participate and be teachers and all that. And then I realized a few things. I realized curating that would be difficult, that I was asking people to, like, people who'd be interested to write the ends of lectures would be interesting. But then I realized that if they brought up anything that I didn't want to deal with, too bad, like, because then the players might be like, oh, you were referring to this battle? Let's learn more about that battle. And I might be like, I don't care about this battle, and now I have to. Oops. And the idea behind day-to-day school life meant that we, like, there was an element where I was like, but where's the story? Where is this interesting? Because they're also walking, talking gods. And that's my failure, I think, in the end, that I didn't see where it was going. Like, based on the characters that I was given, I was like, okay, none of the characters presented were like, I want to find out what it's like to kiss a boy. It was more like, I am the scion of a house and I have to struggle with what my destiny is.
Shit.
Or I want to gradually accumulate an army full of the sworn enemies of the Empire so I can fucking take on Death Lords.
I mean,
I was given character concepts that were larger than a school day. And that's, I think that was on me to sort of interpret it that way and be like, maybe I got to give them more than just this. I don't know. Were you disappointed that wasn't how the game ended up?
well, it's funny, like, just for speaking for myself, I challenged myself to come up with a huge character goal, because that's usually what I think we try to find together as a gaming group and what I think you like to encourage as an ST. So I went in with a certain amount of expectations on that side, but I know there's a completely separate campaign that we could have run that was much lighter, much magical school, much romance teehee,
Smaller in scope.
based. Yeah. And so maybe if we want to say, you know, a lesson from this, it would be like really honing in on what we wanted the tone of the game to be. But I don't feel disappointed by what we did at all, personally. I don't know.
It would have not felt like exalted.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
You know, like, you have all these sweet charms, but like, you're not going to use, I mean, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm going to use them to impress a boy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But like, you're not going to use all of them to impress a boy to go to the dance with you, right? Like,
Well, now I really want to just kiss some boys.
Yay.
Scott, get over here.
yay!
I guess it's just that we did talk like, okay, well, this pandemic sucks, life sucks. Like, we want something a bit more lighthearted where it isn't like the end of the world. So let's have like a stupid high school romance.
Shit.
And then it turned into, okay, well, everything's going wrong. And it was a ton of fun. But I definitely think that I probably would have chosen a slightly different starting point for a character if I knew we were going into our usual, what we clearly enjoy engaging in. Shit's happening, like, shit's gonna hit the
We're on the run.
Yeah.
The
Leaving behind the world we know.
the idea of, but we also learned a few things that we know we kind of work well with.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the big lessons I think that kind of crystallized, because we ended up talking afterwards about when we were kind of coming up towards the end of the season and I was starting to look ahead. I'm generally the one out of our group, if this is fair to say, that thinks about what's happening next. When should we end, or when should we go forward, or should we continue? My mind is there before them. I'm not saying that I'm more likely to, just that I think about it sooner. And I started asking questions, and one of the things that we realized is we really like the idea of having a home base that lets us interact with a regular cast of characters instead of, well, we're in a new place now, so we got to meet new people, and let's go to another new place, and we'll meet more new people, and we don't have a place to rest, relax, and kiss boys. So in a way, we realized that is something that we like. just that by the time that got into my head, we had already blown up the school.
True, right?
So
Yeah.
so there's a certain amount of that, and that's something that we are going to recognize. Now, for one shots or short campaigns, it matters less, but for long campaigns that we're looking at, it is something that I think we're going to be looking forward to. Like for Neo Rokugan, the plan is absolutely that there will be a home base.
127.0.0.1.
Oh, the Emerald, thank
We will
you. He leaves
The
just.
longest he's just like, bye. Happy
just
birthday from the
shouted,
Emerald.
"Damn it!" from the other room.
Sorry, shouting into podcast ears.
But it is something that we've thought about, and it is something that I realize, as much as I would love to do that, it is probably better served by another system in another setting.
Yeah.
In a way, because like you said, if it doesn't feel like Exalted, why are we playing Exalted?
Like Changeling was really well suited for like our specific, setting and everything to have that home base, and it really was a home base.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, that's part of the reason why I'm hoping at some point we might get a chance to play Werewolf, because they also have built-in home bases. But I think that a magical school type would actually be served better by Changeling.
Yeah.
Monster Hearts possibly. I mean, the other thing is that we do need a certain amount of crunch in our lives.
We played for so many sessions.
We really did.
It's a good time.
Celtic Knots asked, one of the things I find hardest with the X3 is coming up with themes for evocations on artifacts. Did you work out your evocations ahead of the game? How did you come up with the themes of your artifacts? Bye, Kate.
It's evocations.
Hey.
Not evocations.
Oh, shit. That was from Kate. I mean,
Wished you happy birthday.
yes, I did see that. Thank you, the Emerald. I appreciate it. Little hand waves there. I think we, if I'm not mistaken, we did discuss sort of like, we had private conversations about like, you have an artifact. What kind of things do you want your artifact to do? Because the evocations are themed along a line, right?
Right.
So we certainly had discussions around what feels right for your character in terms of what kinds of things they would do, and then John, being a wizard, is able to like translate those into mechanics more often than not.
I think you gave me two choices. You were like, "Oh, in battle, would you rather this or this?" And then I chose, and you were like, "Okay, then I pitch this evocation."
Yeah, they were pitched.
So that was cool.
I didn't unilaterally decide and then just hand them to the players. But to me, what was interesting is what kind of a feeling do you want to get from the weapons? What is it why do you want this weapon? What does it mean to you? Those sorts of things. For Scott, it was questions about like, well, my character is a very passionate person, very much an emotional fighter, that kind of thing. And for you, Elizabeth, it was I'm a strategist. I want to be not necessarily the commander, but the one who suggests the correct courses of action.
Yeah.
And that's how we kind of moved into it. The reality is that game design's my job, so I think about it a lot. That's that. But the thing is, when I do it for this, then I get to have fun with it. I get to do what I want.
Fair.
So that's fair. We never got around to giving an artifact to Oresta. One was presented to her towards the end because there was a question of, hey, so it's hard for me to do damage because artifacts are almost a requirement at this level of play. And I think that's because, that's exactly how the play is meant to. Bye, Luke. I think that's how it's meant to do. Once you get to a certain level, if you don't have an artifact, you're going to have a bad time. But the thing is that we just both kind of agreed we didn't want to just give you an artifact, especially when we did the port and it turned out that all the merits just didn't fit for Oresta, and that was an issue. But if we had come up with an artifact for Oresta, I would have been curious to see maybe Bone of Stone's artifact would have been interesting for you at some point. That was me testing the waters a little bit with another Earth aspect. who was definitely somebody who, yeah.
It
That was a cool
did it
person.
compel the truth, or did it just force you to feel intimidated? I'm trying to remember what it did exactly now. I seem to recall it compelling truth.
Yes.
Something like that. Anyway.
No.
Yeah. No lying.
It basically gave somebody the option of if you lied, it was just
That-
going to cause you
Would you like to?
physical pain.
You should have just punched Bone of Stone and stole his stuff.
Requiem Lost asks, who was your favorite NPC and why is it Quick Rat?
I mean, it's a distinct character. Humor and wisdom all rolled into one, and man like steak. I can't get away from it.
Mm.
You want a serious
Says the
question? I'm just going
man
to need a
who
moment.
currently
does not eat
engaged in
any.
a vegan diet.
It's true. Favorite NPCs. Do you have any favorite ones to play?
I really liked playing Single Edge more than I thought I would,
Oh shit!
but
Well.
that fell by the wayside.
Rip. I'm not gonna go look for her.
I was looking forward to playing Leanne.
Oh.
That's disappointing.
Honestly, for me, it's always difficult to pick favorite NPCs because I don't think of them that way.
Mm.
There were NPCs that surprised me that I thought were like, oh wow, you're way more interesting than I thought you would be. But I don't really. I have a lot of difficulty picking a favorite splat, favorite NPC, all of that sort of thing. So,
Who were the ones that were more interesting than you thought they were going to be? Do you have any to give us?
So I can give you one example right away. I actually was more interested. I was really interested in Kitty. Having Pyres' mother show up, I knew that was going to be a moment for Pyres because, a lot of the pressure, most of the pressure came from his family.
Yeah.
And what was interesting to me was that Kitty ended up being an ally, but definitely not being an ally that you would fully engage with.
Mm-hmm.
And it was clear that there was a difference between the father who loved his daughter and the mother who used her son.
Mm-hmm.
Still proud of him, still love in a certain way, but I actually was really happy that it felt like that's the reaction that I got from the three of you, that there was like, oh, Kitty, okay, she could be useful, we can use her. But then Oresta's dad, everyone was like,
Hey!
Oh,
Pancakes!
great.
We met them back to back too, if I
Yes, we
recall
did.
correctly.
It was
right?
awesome having them in the same place.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really
Just
cool.
To compare and contrast, I tend to agree. Kitty was maybe not. Maybe what I expected, certainly, but a lot more fun to interact in that universe than I was expecting.
Courier for life. Is there any positive to Essence you have not seen people talking about? Just wanting to bring on a little positivity about the system.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about Essence, so I may repeat.
Fair.
Go for it.
The fact that you don't need to be a combatant to be effective in battle is really exciting. The fact that you can rally troops, you can inspire your allies, you can do all sorts of things to help them build power. You don't have to necessarily be attacking every turn, which is, I think, really exciting. And I also think if you're not familiar with EX3 already and you're not having to unlearn things, this is a pretty easy system to learn.
Yeah.
It makes sense. A lot of it
Mhm.
flows really well. And just because it didn't necessarily click for us at this current stage does not mean that it's not a good system in a lot of ways too.
I like the pre-listed costs for things like social influence and gambits. That it was always useful to have these little tables that I had made for myself, but still to be able to be like, so I struggle with the 3 successes and then the threshold. That was a struggle, but the idea of, okay, well, I got this many extra successes, so I can persuade someone to do something annoying because I have 4 threshold successes, or, oh, well, I can weaken an intimacy because I have 3, or, oh, well, I can do a knockback with only 2 extra power because I'm an earth aspect and I have a thing that lets me do that. It really allowed me to know exactly what I can do with my threshold successes rather than like, whoa, 10 successes, that's cool. You punch really hard. Muh. Like,
Yeah.
I appreciated I appreciate it, and like especially with social influence, you can actually spend it on lots of things.
Good thing there's a bunch of tables in here.
Yeah.
The shared XP also. I just
That's
remembered.
cool.
I like
Yes.
that a lot.
Yes.
I think that there's still a lot of
Yes.
work to be done on what the different types of milestones and stuff can be used for.
Yeah.
Because I think at a certain point we were accumulating a lot of certain types of milestones, but kind of ran out of things to spend them on. But the idea that it was shared was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Point by XP systems, from now on, I will say I'm absolutely keeping that.
Yeah.
I really like the idea that you're earning XP for the table and not for yourself. It still lets players have a moment where they can feel like, oh, I did something good. I did something well, but everyone gets to benefit.
Mhm.
It's part of the reason why I don't do noms anymore. Why we
Yeah.
don't do play the game and have it be an experience thing. Even though I did calculate it and our players basically had a very equal distribution. The problem was that it was streaky. Scott would win it like 4 times in a
Yeah,
row.
fair.
And remember, that's a month
Yeah.
where you don't get any recognition and Scott gets all the recognition.
And then if I got a month of a streak, and then it would be 2 months since Liz got like a bonus XP, and that's lame.
We also realized that because we left it up to player vote
Yeah.
or audience vote, the issue is that sometimes the audience would vote for the clever wording as opposed to the actual event, which is nothing against, like, we never told people how to vote, but like that was in the end I grew dissatisfied with it, and then when we came along to this, I was like, yep, hey, the air aspect took an action that furthered her goals, so she's acting like an air aspect, thumbs up, everyone gets to benefit from it.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like, even though once again it kind of averaged out that everybody earned what they were supposed to earn, everybody always got to be happy that happened, instead of it being like, oh, well, thanks, that's great.
And it made us more attuned to what each other were doing, because we could nominate each other for things and bring different elements of play to your attention.
Yes.
For your consideration.
My consideration.
Exactly.
The Academy doesn't send screeners out anymore, so
Oh.
the thing that I'm going to point out is this is a problem when coming from Exalted 3rd Edition. It's actually a problem coming from any version of Exalted, but it's something that I think Essence does really well, and it's flattening the power curve and letting people play the Exalted they want. We didn't use it this time around, even though the players had the option to. They elected to keep their characters and move forward, which, again, we've talked about how that was good, but also not good. But I like the idea that if Scott wanted to play a Sidereel, and if Liz wanted to play a Lunar, and Kate wanted to play an Exigent, we could do that. I think that's really good, because if you go into 3rd edition and you try to do that, you'll run into issues, because some characters are absolutely going to be more powerful than others. And that's by design.
Yeah, that's how the universe works.
Yeah. But it also, to me, was nice, because that meant that I had more options in terms of like, yep, you're facing off against a Dragon-Blooded. There were very specific things that I could do in the system to make one character a badass against 3, which is very hard to do in other versions of the system, because this one person comes up, all 3 of you start attacking, the overwhelm starts stacking, but like sometimes you want to have that one big boss instead of dealing with like, 20 different combatants, which is another thing for streaming. The more combatants in a combat, the longer it's going to take.
Yeah.
But I still wanted there to be challenge.
And what Turk just mentioned is what I was going to say, is that I think that might be something that you want to bring forward into other systems. Obviously, taking a moment to think about how that works based on game design and balance.
Yeah.
But the ability to have an interrupt action, because if it's just the 3 of us against one big bad, it might be okay. But if it's the 3 of us plus all the NPCs that we keep collecting, because we love collecting NPCs,
Love a good
then if it's 5 or 10, or I don't even know where my mic pack is, honestly.
You wearing it?
Yeah, it's just buried in my pocket because I have real pockets. I don't understand what this is. That's a context that I feel like that might be worth bringing forward. I know, I'm freaked out because I can put my whole hand into my pocket.
Real pockets, not like I think of as Dobby is a free elf.
Like, look, it's my whole
Look, my whole hand is in a pocket.
Oh my god.
Unusual.
But yeah, I think that might be something worth stealing and bringing to other systems as the interrupt feature.
All right, well, here's an interesting question from Gale Whispered. Do you think you'll come back to the characters in the future, or do you feel like the story of the Hearth of the One True Bell has reached a good ending?
Those are both true. Can I say both?
They did.
They do. I think it's reached a good ending.
Yeah.
I also would be very curious to see what that next big step in their lives looks like, right? Attempting to bring great houses together, attempting to take down some sort of outside threat. Political marriages? Anyone?
Yeah.
Drama.
Yeah.
I'm kidding about that last one, but well, maybe not actually.
John would have to play all of our spouses.
I think he's up to
I
it.
already do.
And all of our lovers.
Done.
No problem.
Oh boy.
Well, I think
So good.
by doing Disconcordia, we've each been able to bring back our PCs from Changeling, and I think that it would be fun to go back to these characters. And I know that one of the things that we offered even going into the second season was to zoom out on the map and zoom into a different group of Exalted. And so if we come back to this timeline, I don't know whether I would choose necessarily to go back to Oresta, especially with the versioning situation that I had converting her. And then with whatever the final draft of Essence becomes, I don't know whether I would even further fuck her up. But to know what she is doing in the parallel timeline, I would love to be aware of that. I don't, at the moment, until we see what final draft of Exalted Essence is, until we see what we want to do when we come back, I don't know whether I would choose to play her fully as a PC again.
I mean, Liz has already said, if we come back to this, she's going to play Gale and we're going to play 2 Anathema. Like,
we're going to be your pets.
You're in my army.
Can we be dating again?
Aww,
probably. I don't see why not.
No.
Oh, damn.
Can I be dating Liz?
No.
Oh, no, when you start.
Very specifically, if you're starting a new character, I don't want you involved with another
Can
piece of
I
it.
eventually date
Can I
both
speed
of you?
run?
Can't stop you doing that. You can speed run marriage
Love
percent.
triangle.
Yes.
run.
So the if I had to answer this question right now,
Mm-hmm.
my answer would be I'd encourage all 3 players to play new characters, but occasionally would allow their existing PCs in as cameos, not statted, not like in a situation where they would end up having to roll a lot of dice, but that they'd still be able to continue their story in another fashion. I like where it ended. I like the fact that it's that there was a conclusion reached, but not an ending.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because it gives us a little more leeway that we can kind of be like, okay, well, what do we want to do next time? But also that if it ends, that there's still some excitement. You kind of want to still have a little excitement about what's gonna go on, what's gonna happen. Sometimes when something is over and over and over, it's closed, and then you put it away and you don't think about it again. But if you're curious about what else could happen, there's some interest in there. In my experience, anyway. I mean, or you have Return of the King, where you have 12 endings.
Right. Well, one ending is good, so 12 endings must be.
Oh, the one where everyone's in bed together?
Yeah.
Cuddles.
Why was it so
No.
We'll ask this
Oh.
for this, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to answer it. Willing to explain what Nekarb is in more details? I feel like a lot of Exalted experts understood something I was not about her character. I'll confirm something, if that makes sense. But Nekarb was a Gatimian, which basically means that I mean, I'm gonna be extremely opaque with this, and people probably yell at me for the answer. It's a possibility that didn't occur and is now getting the chance to occur. So in this particular thing, remember, I created this before we got the manuscript.
That's right.
And before anything was really fleshed out about them. The idea is that if Bracken was the hero of games, the idea is what would have happened if the hero of games was allowed to break the rules.
And in that concept, that idea exalts another person
Yeah.
who is
From essentially another timeline
yeah.
put into this one.
Pretty sweet.
Which is a really interesting idea, but it wasn't very fleshed out at the time.
I mean, she was absolutely infuriating. In terms of the analogy of infuriating to people who were playing the same game but opposing each other, right? Sort of like mirror, like a reflective game, the mirrors, right? Like there were a lot of different analogies that kind of played into it, which I thought was very nice.
Yeah,
worked well.
Yeah.
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 Oh, they're done.
Let's see what other questions we have here.
So
How early did I decide to destroy the school? Honestly, probably episode 19.
yeah.
It was when it happened. I was willing to find out what players were going to do up until a certain point, and then I sort of realized, okay, well, honestly, I think it's time for us to move on because the school had become such a like a weird place for the characters. I was like, I'm not sure that I can maintain this, and I needed to give them an excuse to leave. But I still didn't decide to destroy the school until I found out what happened. It could have been it's very possible that Oresta might have been like, instead of organizing resistance, we're going to surrender. In which case, maybe they wouldn't have destroyed the school.
Yeah.
Or run, or hide, or I don't know, right? Like,
Yeah,
there's all sorts of
I
stuff.
think it would have depended on what read I got at the moment, and that might have depended on like my first roll of the session, right?
damn,
If I failed and it was like we're all gonna fucking die, maybe I would have run, right?
Yeah.
I would have been like, I will take the bullets, you all run, and I will
Jesus.
just endure.
Oh,
until
the
you run
amazing
away.
Oresta moments.
But it would like she wouldn't even move much. She'd just be like, I'm Earth aspect.
Ow. Ow.
These bullets are impacting me, but I don't.
And then she
move
just
because
slowly
I'm-
sinks.
Yeah,
down
like
to the
one
ground.
single drop of sweat falling, and everyone's like,
There's like blood pouring out of her, but she's like standing strong. Anyway. Alternate universe.
Mm.
yeah, a variant empowered by an exaltation that was never meant to be either.
Mm.
The other thing that also, for a huge moment like that, sometimes you want to put a huge tilt on the game, but you also want to suss out your players a little bit and be like, are you going to be okay with this?
Mm-hmm.
So I marched up an army to the House of Bells, and if the players immediately started acting like, there's no way that we could possibly let this place fall, I don't want to leave here, like, and it became clear that would be upsetting, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. What, you like pay attention to what we want?
Only if we use our word holes.
Let's see.
Ooh. Ellie Spot's question is now out.
Why
of
was the
universe.
investigation system never used in ExalTwitch Academy Season 1? We're not really, like, that was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Some of it is also, I don't like solving everything just by being like, yep, you rolled the dice and here's the answer.
Hmm.
I mean, I honestly don't remember the system, so.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean,
scene.
we had Detective Jorik,
Yep.
and we
Did a
had,
lot of that.
like, Gale was, like, our detective of the thing, so it was never my problem to know about. That's my answer. Ugh.
Good answer. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know. I had friends.
It's, it's honestly just, to me, some of these systems exist because you have players who are like, I want my character to be good at solving mysteries.
Yeah.
But I don't want to solve the mysteries. And I don't get the impression from my players that they would rather just have the solutions handed to them.
Roll dice, win game.
Because, like, hey, that's how we do combat. I don't insist that,
Yeah.
you know, I don't insist that Liz stands up and is like, face me. Like, you know,
It's been a long time since I've punched something.
it's not a LARP. And in a lot of ways, we make abstractions where we can.
I volunteer as tribute.
In your own words, why is Flivian too good for all of you?
Wow. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know where the love for Flavienne like came from in the first place.
Gil.
Sure, but why? I'm
carb
curious.
love.
We all love carbs.
Not like her.
Good point.
Not like that.
Correct. Why is Flavienne too good for all of us? She's this is gonna sound insulting, but let me drive forward with my point. She's simple. What I mean by that, just to be clear, is like I feel like she's got a lot of baggage, a lot of backstory, and it doesn't bother her. She's able to just move forward with like down to earth things. She loves her friends, she loves her food, and she loves fucking. Okay, like it's a good life. That's why we like Flavienne around here. How's that? Fair?
Yeah. She killed a bully, so that instantly put her in Oresta's excellent book.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The fuckable category.
Yeah, correct.
I don't know. Like, Dawn, good job. She was like often a breath of fresh air in a difficult situation, but never in a, I'm just making a joke, I'm a useless character. Yeah, right? Like, it was never that. It was always like, yeah, but whatever, I'm just over here like chomping on some food. And so there was levity and relatableness in like very large quotation marks, but like, you know, when I'm writing this character to be relatable, but it wasn't ham-fisted coming from you, but it was still that quality that made her easily likable. And she was also like a freak in the sheets, so, you know.
I'll just sneak that in there at the end.
We like that sort of thing on this channel.
We do the weird stuff.
Do you still have some of the option diagrams?
I do. I have none.
Yes,
of them.
I do.
What about you, Kate? Liz, not Kate. Kate just spoke.
I answered for. Honestly, I think a lot of what they just said.
Fuck, I forgot.
So good.
So
just
dumb.
unapologetically herself.
Why are they this way?
Flavienne and Siantel both had backstories with a certain amount of happiness and a certain amount of trauma.
Yes.
And one thing that I am very intent on is the idea that if a character is only defined by their trauma, they're not very interesting. Siantel's trauma became more front and center because it got involved with the rest of the plot of the House of Bells and all that. And I was like, okay, we can use this. And you also chose to continue to trust her, where it would have. Sometimes your players surprise you and they're like, yep, I'll fucking kill her because she's a Celsi. Nope, snap, walk away.
Fair,
And
right?
that would have been fair game. It absolutely would have been fair game. The thing is, we already had Siantel. Flavienne's backstory, as much as she is, and I know that Konku Fenris asked, essentially a lost egg, somebody who was not born into privilege, not born on the Blessed Isle, but was brought back and forcibly, for lack of a better term, she was forcibly educated to become a proper member of society. That wasn't necessary, but there were hints, right? The fact that she was like, if I have access to food, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
She had, as an intimacy, specifically like, I will never turn down a meal. Because she didn't always live with the idea that she'd know where her next one was coming from. The idea of all of that touching, but like, I don't think the game would have been more interesting if I was like, all right, well then here's Flavienne's sad story until we were needing it, and we never needed it. So I preferred to play her as somebody with depth, but yet still with levity, because she enjoys rising bread.
Can I just say, John, sorry, I've never considered something like that, or at least not in recent months or years. The concept of like a character having depth, because something that has depth, you can't see to the bottom of it. That's like kind of something that is, unless it's a completely translucent liquid, but like, or transparent rather.
So you are a professional performer. You are an actor. And every actor has different ways to prepare their characters, right? And some actors don't need that. They're all about physicality, and they're about like, okay, well, I have to look sad. Well, I'm going to use an inner object to look sad.
Yeah.
And for some performers, they like really go deep into like, oh, well, my character, this is how they were when they were 4 years old, and this is what they were like in high school, and this is what they were like, in 50 years in the future from now, all that stuff. The idea for me in this particular case is I would prefer to make a decision about a character and have it inform this character's actions without knowing that it's possible that no one will ever know.
Mm-hmm.
But subconsciously people catch on,
or
consciously people catch on, and then they feel clever when they catch on. And if there's something that I love doing as a storyteller, I want to make my players feel clever. I want them to feel clever that they figured something out. And sometimes I want to give them the tools so that they can be so clever that I couldn't even anticipate it. Or they'll come to a conclusion that I never thought of, and I'm like, great, we're fucking doing that. That's a fantastic idea. Right? Like if all of you had decided at one point, like, oh, yeah, Flavienne, clearly she's from the north, I would be like, sure, why not? And then you would feel clever because you were right. And the trick is for me to not make it obvious that I'm always going along with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I do make the decision, and sometimes I don't.
Makes sense.
Yeah, depth isn't always taken, and also sometimes I'll establish a character, and then I'll add depth because the character becomes more important because you decided to. Like when Flavienne first showed up, I didn't know everything about Flavienne when you first faced off against her.
Oh, of course not.
It was only after the fact when you were like, I like her, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well,
I choose you.
Right early on in season 1, it was like, oh, let's go and collect a couple more NPCs for this hearth. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, I guess we have access to all of the NPCs we've met so far.
Yeah. But this is also part of the reason why I think that Academy succeeded where Reach failed. You reached out and were like, I want friends.
Yeah.
Friends to like stay with us and we can get to know them better.
Yeah.
I think you just all really like doing that.
Hello.
Hello.
Ellie Spot asks, can you say anything about what Leanne would have been able to tell the hearth if she had survived, or what her goals would have been?
Can we?
Sure, I'll confirm this. I will confirm this because I think that this is something that won't necessarily come up. Leanne was a bronze faction who was learning to question her attachment to that specific ideal.
Damn.
I don't know which way she would have fallen. It would have been up to how you interacted with her.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you interacted with her with a bladed edge, and it went through her neck.
That is correct. And you know what? Storytelling wise, I don't regret it at all.
I don't. Regret
no, I think it went really well. Yeah,
it's great.
It was an interesting story.
But that's
disappointing.
Her original position was actually to assist Viren. She was there to she was not aware of Excelsi. She was aware of Viren. And was attempting to expose the Anathema who she suspected were in the thing. And then she had become friendly with Juin because she suspected.
Right.
And then was correct, but then realized that there was more to it than that.
But as Scott said, he's not sorry, and I'm not either, because it was a moment where I feel like PCs often try to be the heroes and try to save the day, and it was a moment where we decidedly were like, based on the circumstances that our characters understand, even if we as players know that if we tried, John would let us succeed somehow, like our characters and their situations chose to not. It was decidedly a moment. It wasn't like heroes, folks, where we were calling ourselves heroes. It was the opposite, where we knew we weren't being heroes.
Right. It was literally it's her or us moment, and we chose us, which was pretty brutskis, because there was no way in our view of saving her and also keeping her cover. And so we prioritized us.
Which was an amazing moment for me, because sometimes you run into heroitis where players assume they can always win,
of course,
because they're supposed to be the heroes.
Yeah.
And sometimes that really sucks, because you're like, well, but I want bad things to happen. But this was a situation which I loved because I put it in your hands and you went with it, because it also equally sucks if I'm like, oh, Leanne, yeah, she's dead. There was no way for you to help.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes that's okay. Like people can die off camera occasionally, but it's often more interesting if players felt like they at least had some power in it. Garavel died because I presented you with Garavel, and then you elected not to save him.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, well, Nekarb's leaving, and you were like, yeah, she can go. And I'm like, oh, well, rip. But Leanne was, I think, a special moment because it was in your hands, and you made a really tough decision, but it ended up being a cool moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Very much. So,
I'll take that 9 times out of 10.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
10 times out of 10. It leads to fucking. Wait.
What?
What?
Oh.
Who?
Huh?
Doo-doo-doo.
So Ellie Spot points out here, the thing with the letters in season 1, what was the deal with Leanne sneaking off into the woods and having the Fangs who were battling changed? Still attempting to get into Viren's good graces.
Sorry, everyone.
Because the realizing that also that there were allies that she potentially had, and being like, I need to put the focus on these 3. Was that, and simultaneously trying to make it look like she was helping Juin as well. Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Garavel is a villain. Why and how did that decision come about? Because I got to keep people on their toes sometimes. Honestly, Garavel. Look, sometimes you introduce a character who's likable and you want them to stay likable, and that's great. And sometimes you introduce a character that's likable, and if you make them a bad person, then the players feel cheated, and they're like, "Well, what the fuck? Like, did you just arbitrarily decide this?" And that's no good. Garavel was enough of an ally that I knew it would hurt, and not enough of an ally that I knew that it would be unforgivable. I think it would have been
sense.
like if Flavienne somehow was like, I was Viren all along. I think that would have just been horrible.
I'd like to carve out my insides, please.
All right, well, that's going to be finesse, close.
Autopsy?
Oh.
I think Rubermensch, you could argue that he was an antagonist because by allying himself with this LC, he was against the House of Bells, and if he was against the House of Bells, he was against all the students there.
Yeah.
Even though he put our little dinosaur bandages on our little boo-boos, not enough.
Ooh.
Why was Nekarb an antagonist in season 2? She seemed a bit out of place. Quite honestly, she was there to advance morale and the players,
Plot.
She was there in the service of plot. That wasn't her story, but her story ended because the players decided it was time for it to end. That's all. Some things don't work out, and that's okay. I have a lot of things going. I have put a lot of balls in the air, and it's up to the players to decide which ones tumble and which ones they catch.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Keep those
balls in the air.
Hot.
Right?
Did Siantel actually have crafts? You did spell it right, by the way. Anatosid. And
crafts.
Yes, Siantel had crafts.
Yay! That's right. Early on-ish, mid-season 1, right? There was the battle, and she was like, "I'll be back!" And then she like made a flag
flag. It was
and ran
cool.
out. I was like, "Oh my god, crafts!"
I drafted her for a reason. I mean, what?
What? Because she's a wood aspect.
If somehow via Exalted Magic the Hearth had to become a different aspect and pick as they were at the end of season 2, what aspect would the trio switch to?
water.
Wood.
Oresta was what she was. Like, I literally, going into making Oresta, I was like, okay, I know what type of character I want to make. Oh, she's definitely Earth. No, that's too obvious. No, she's Earth.
No, it's got
Okay, well, Cathak is like the first fucking house. She's gonna be one of the other ones. No, she's Cathak. Like, I'm sorry, but like, no, that's
I like
what
the
she
idea
is.
of like a hand reaching out from the book and just shaking you a few times. It's like, this is the character.
That's
for
exactly what I was
you.
going.
Wood
What?
Oresta.
You just try to get away. You're like, no, this is the concept. God damn it. Yeah.
So good. Sometimes it just speaks to you, you know?
Yeah.
That's really funny.
Season 2 moved at a much faster pace than season 1. Do you feel like this was led by your choices of where the story should head, the system, or something else? Or a combination?
I believe, because we had a conversation between the 2 seasons about the idea of traveling, about going to various places, because there was more travel, it feels like it does move faster, but it also feels like it moves faster because there's an episode of we're traveling, so we're going to accomplish a bunch of interpersonal relationships, and then it's like we're here, we're going to do a bunch of plot related stuff all at once. It didn't always come out that way, but
and then we'd fast travel, so it really did feel
Right.
like things were moving quickly.
yeah,
Because it would be one travel episode, but then we'd arrive, as opposed to like when we were at the school, there would be like a few days before the next event and that kind of stuff.
Or at least like a whole session where we're getting ready for the event or getting over the event. Yeah. Whereas this was more, there's shit we need to get done. Okay, we finished the last shit and
We
there's
can go
new
there,
shit to do.
do that. Yeah.
I think that it's no secret by now that oftentimes when I run games, I don't like being like 6 months later.
Yeah.
I just don't really do that much. And in terms of Exalted, for Exalted Nexus,
Yeah.
there was like a couple of months passed and you went from Essence 1 to Essence 5. What the fuck? And I'm just like, I don't care. I really just don't.
Yeah, right. We did have
High
a time
stakes.
skip because we went from Nexus to
Chiaroscuro.
Chiaroscuro. Yeah.
And then back. But that was only a time skip because it was like the book says it takes this long to get there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like it was literally like, okay, you get there. Next.
Yeah. I'm just not I don't like those kinds of games personally because a lot of what I get out of games are conversations and social bonds. And I find it's really tough to be like, okay, so all right, Kyoko and Braum are batting their eyelashes at each other 4 years later.
Half
you hold
rock,
my
half
hand?
bunny babies.
Oh, wait.
Like, what happened?
Oh, Braum is having more kids. Is Kyoko currently canonically pregnant?
Oh, well, this is a question to be answered on another stream, another
Wouldn't
time.
you like to know? So then, yeah, I don't.
Knock, knock.
I want to see those relationships form, and
Got bunnies.
it's harder to do if you're putting time skips in a lot.
Yes, very much.
Spoiler?
Spoiler. Yes, we did use the venture system. The venture system is a system I like.
Yes,
Mhm.
agreed.
That's another part of
Very
Essence
positive.
that I would say is good. Here's a question for the players. In the second to last episode, there was a point where you almost created a new great house, Bells. Why did you back away from that?
So I always saw it as being more of a like
Spartacus moment?
a symbol rather than our intention to actually found a new house. But I don't know if everybody else felt differently.
No, that's how I felt too. I saw it as symbolical. Yeah, Spartacus moment, John. I
Yeah.
agree. Like more so a tearing down of the sort of notion that you have to have a house with a name that goes in front of your name. We just fucking put another name in front. We put a noun in front of our name. Nobody cares. That was how I sort of interpreted that.
No one
moment.
gives a fuck.
I
Basically.
definitely feel like there was a moment where I saw like that potential path, but I was also like, we're a bunch of nobodies from the House of Bells that are being a bunch of upstarts surrounded by a bunch of other like exalts in the Imperial City. No, we aren't actually trying to found a house. We would have had a plan for that. Gale Whispered would have had like a 10-point plan if that was our actual plan.
1,000%. I would have my like house business proposals ready for
Exactly.
funding.
And it would have worked.
applications.
Hang on,
And it
I
would have been
have too many
great.
of these
But that was
Flivian
not what
sex
we were
drawings in
doing.
here.
We were presenting it.
Second.
It was like, and I feel like it was a spur of the moment thing that just came up in the play that was happening.
Yes, yeah. Tell said it first.
Yeah,
Even us, like-
I will remind you that I was the one who said it first. It was appropriate for Siantel because she was like, well, I'm not a Celsi, and I don't really want to claim
Yeah.
to be Regara or
Yeah.
anything. Right? Like,
No one want
I'm
that.
from the heaven.
like I just don't want to start. I don't want to start getting into it.
Yeah.
So instead, I'm just going to say, no, like today I'm Bells. And I don't fault the players for not being like, well, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Because it was me. I'm pleased that they picked up on it. I thought that was a cool moment, but it wasn't part of their original plan.
It's true, eh? There's a 50-50 chance that we would have all just been like, and just like nodded at Siantel,
Isn't
as we
that
sometimes
nice?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair that you don't want to pick a side. I get it.
Oh,
Yeah,
BookCon
the-
2022.
Earlier, I think
Coming for you.
Requiem had a question of like what trait that started out as a joke ended up being like a really big part of your character. And for me, it was Gale's penchant
Thank you.
for questionnaires and presentations.
Yeah.
And like,
Very
because I knew she was a nerd, but I did not realize to the extent. And when she made a questionnaire for her like friends getting into a triangle, that was, was a fun moment for me.
The established fact of the Oresta reading erotic fiction. Initially, she was supposed to be just into novels, into historical fiction. And then someone somewhere was like, "Oh yeah, it's totally, entirely, consistently, exclusively erotic fiction." And I'm just like,
I like how it's exclusively erotic.
It started because we were in the library, and I was like, "Oresta, you're here for books, right? Let me take you to the erotica section. I know that's your favorite."
One Night in Chiaroscuro.
Oh,
my
so
"The
God,
Wide
good.
Dark
title.
Sea."
It's cool.
Stuff. Shirt, no shirt.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, no. It was the very first moment of Pyres post, like, you know, the little flashback of them sort of starting at the House of Bells. Yikes, Ellie Spot.
But truth.
But also very true. The first moment of Pyres was like, oh, well, we're being pulled out of bed in the middle of the night. Well, I wouldn't be wearing clothes, so I guess I'm naked, and I'm great with that because I have appearance 5. Like, that was the logic in that moment. And then from then on, I was like, no, I would be using my appearance to get what I want. That's he knows that's his best statistic. Like, he's going to do this. So I was just taking off my shirt all the time. Like, it just became a trope or a joke of like how he deals with situations.
Use the gutters.
Delicious.
Terraria for Life, that's everyone that has whirlwind brush technique uses it to copy out erotica. That's how they practice
The rule
the
34 of
charm,
the-
right? And the art, and they practice their handwriting. They copy all the smut. Because it pays for their education.
Right.
How do you like my education?
How do you like my education? Oh, it's been a long time since I thought about that. Inside joke. Sorry, team.
Ancient
It was a while ago,
Jackbox
actually, yeah.
inside joke.
It was a while.
Early pandemic or
Yeah.
maybe.
I still can perfectly remember the first time you said it out loud, like with the Kate intonations.
How do
Just
you like my education?
it's just it makes me laugh every time. We can't
yes.
explain it. Oh God.
Sorry, John.
Flavienne's penchant for going after bread
Bread.
or food is up there. I think, but I honestly think that because that was sort of planned, unplanned. I think it was Flavienne being like, "Well, I have many options for you to try.
Yeah.
Perhaps you would be enjoying option 3,
Mm.
Oh, but
option 4."
Pyres chose number 2.
Yes, he sure did.
Sure did.
Like,
So I like that quite a bit.
weirdo.
I'll say something that wasn't a joke, but something that I didn't expect would take off was, and we've spoken about this before, was the discussions about Gateway and my blatant ripping off of another thing and positioning it as Gateway, but then it became metaphors for how the situation was, the idea of an obscured game, a clouded game, the reflective game, the like what pieces can we sacrifice, what pieces can we move, and how important is it to win was, I think, honestly one of my favorite parts of interacting with you this season was just that
delightful.
was cool.
And it was a great way of planning strategies in a way that was interesting. It wasn't just like, okay, like let's do some real-time planning. It was we were using like another way of describing it, which added some variety.
Yeah.
And then coming up with gatewayisms on the spot was a challenge, but it was a fun challenge.
Also the best venture of the season.
Yeah.
Dare I say.
Yeah.
Viren's Folly. was-
Aaron's Folly.
So good.
Thank
was so
you.
good.
I like how Exalted gives you the chance to be like, yeah, I'm going to take chess and make it shatter an empire. And I think that's
Exalted. That's Exalted.
That's Exalted.
All
Exalted.
right.
In much the same way that if someone's like, I want to compose the song that will sink an island.
You're like,
Okay.
okay, I think you can do that.
Fucking
Yeah.
go for it. Like, let's
Yeah.
see. But yeah.
Like, to jump forward, I also feel like that would fit into what I understand of like L5R and Neo Rokugan is that they would have things like chess, like composing like poetry or music that is that significant. So I'm excited to still pull some of those wonderful things that we discovered here in this world and be able to do similar type, like, oh yeah, it's not just I have a samurai sword and I slash down the bad guys with my Bushido. Like, there's so much more to it.
I slash with Bushido.
That's how it works, right?
It.
Well, that's how it is in Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like, yeah, it's really exciting that we found these other aspects of play that can be so significant, and that we're moving into a system where there's still canonical ways to support that.
And it helps with world building too. Like, even if we hadn't used it in ventures or anything, it's just added flavor that really starts to create, like, further paints the world around you, the setting.
Oh, Shogi.
Did someone say Hanafuda?
Hanafuda.
By your desk.
Because, I don't know, he was
I
probably
think
showing
it came
off.
up earlier.
Oh, damn.
This is my set of Hanafuda cards from Nintendo.
Yeah,
Oh, shit. I
legitimate.
didn't know you had those.
Official.
These are legitimate Nintendo Hanafuda cards because they were originally a playing card company back in the 1800s.
I think I knew that.
Yeah, which
like,
is why
vaguely, but
which
that's
is why it's great
wild.
when someone's like, "How long's Nintendo been around?" It's like over
100 years. Yeah, like
years or 150
Yeah.
years, and they're like, "What?"
yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone's interested in shogi and also wants to watch a really melancholy but sweet anime, watch March Comes In Like a Lion. The art is beautiful, and there's like cute animations teaching you how to play shogi.
Whereas don't watch March Comes in a Lion, which is
Oh,
that's
one of
erotic
Oresta's
fiction
books.
that
Yeah.
Oresta reads.
Gross.
Kung Fu Fenris asks, pork buns or baguette?
I don't even eat pork, but pork buns.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
an easy answer.
Right now, this very second, baguette,
Mm.
I'm apparently craving carbs, maybe because I've only been drinking soil at rehearsal and I miss eating real food. But that's entirely my fault.
You want a donut? No. It's not quite the same, is it?
Grubermensch asks, is there anything that came up this season that you think will influence how you approach Neo Rokugan next season?
So what I just said,
How
shogi,
Yeah, there you go.
and yeah.
This isn't season 2 ExalTwitch Academy specific, but and it's a big but. The journey of my character over a season is always what it is. It's always exciting. It's always interesting to sort of play out. And I never want to do the same thing twice, or at least not back to back. So it influences me in trying to figure out a starting place that isn't the same starting place in the same journey.
Mhm.
That's a bit broader because that can be applied to anything. But certainly that's how I want to approach Neo Rokugan, is like, I don't want to be in that same position going the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% same here.
I had already mentioned the idea of making sure that there's a home base. The idea that recurring NPCs is something that we enjoy as a group and that we want to hold on to. I've also recognized that there's going to be a lot of work for us to take Legend of the Five Rings and put it into a setting that we're excited about, cyberpunk, and then also still make it work within the context of that. And also, we are trying to address, to a certain degree, the idea of we want to play in these worlds that are inspired by all kinds of different mythologies and stories. But we also recognize that we are for white folk. And one of the things that we're doing for that is we're shifting the setting to a certain degree, because there were some questions about, like, well, Rokugan is very much based on, old Japanese stories, and like, what are we going to do with that? So we're not ignoring that, but we're also, like, there's all sorts of questions here. But the thing that I've learned from this campaign specifically is, if I come up with these questions, I got to talk about it, right? Like, I can't keep saying, well, this is my responsibility, I'll shoulder it. That's not fair, right? It's not fair to me, but it's also distinctly not fair to my players. Because then it's just like, well, I'll come up with the answers.
Yeah.
With no input. I think I know best.
We
I
also
think-
don't want you stressing yourself out
Yeah.
before we've even started the
Yeah.
game. We'd
Yeah,
like
it's
to
not
shoulder
fun.
some of that burden for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kate, what were you saying?
I think I was gonna say something really stupid, some stupid quip. So like, it's fine that I've already forgotten it.
I was going to play some dumb shit.
But I think it was like, yeah, so just whatever I was going to say is gone. But the fact that we're going to acknowledge and accept that we're starting from that base, but we are fast forwarding into the future where more of a global influence may be able to have come into it, and that we distance ourselves because as much as L5R, especially more and more with the newer versions and the version that we're using, has worked to be like, no, this is a fiction inspired by, rather than this is absolutely what real samurai did. Like even Bushido is a bastardized version of like concepts that were inspired by. It gives us that extra layer to be able to attempt to respectfully acknowledge the influence without being like, yes, I'm going to eat my Gohan and play my Go and Shogi. Like, we aren't trying to be real, like, stereotypes of Japanese samurai. That's not what we're trying to do at all.
Still absolutely influenced.
Yes. Influenced, inspired, hopefully finding moments and ways to respectfully acknowledge without trying to be like, yes, I am Japanese. Like, not happening.
There's some great articles out there about whether, people should play elements that they are not, whether it's race or sexuality or gender or whatever. And a lot of the answer is yes, you should, but you should just do it right, which is sometimes hard.
Yeah, no, fair.
We're going to do our best.
Be open to communicating with each other and with you.
And with you folks, like, honestly, if we say or do something like the way we were pronouncing baguette, that you were hearing something else like that, something as small and unintentional as that, we still want to hear, because we don't want to have someone listening to this and feeling like they're hearing a slur or hear us portray something and be really upsetting or offensive or whatever. Like, we want to, we're going to put in the work, but we aren't going to be perfect.
That's very true.
Neo Rokugan, or Neo Rokugan, how cyberpunk do you actually plan on going?
Fairly?
Yeah, like
pretty
not,
cyberpunk.
like not cyberpunk, red cyberpunk. Like not break everything.
It's not nihilistic.
Kick people in the nuts all the time.
No.
Sorry.
I mean,
like not incisor, basically is what I'm saying.
I'm going to plan a kit bash now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm picturing like possibly lasery like swords and hacking and
so
robots.
Yeah.
We're going to be getting into how we're modifying the setting coming up. Whoop. Eraser.
It's gone.
Like we'll be able to do that. However, what I will say is we're not planning on we're not planning on changing so much of the setting. Like, it's not going to be like, oh, everyone's got a gun, because guns that then we'd have to come up with rules for guns, and we'd have to, like, yes, there are guns. Yeah, I know. Like, but we're not going to do that. So yeah, people are going to be carrying things like swords and armor and arrows, but they will be flavored in such a way, and we do have ways to make that diegetic, to make it make sense, instead of just everyone deciding, no, we just really like swords for some reason.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the universe for sure.
It'll be in universe, but it is definitely going to be cyberpunk. Otherwise, it isn't. But I think what you were kind of talking about, Scott, is that cyberpunk was born out of the idea of kind of like anarchy and taking down, the man kind of thing. And while we're absolutely going to be able to play with themes, it's not going to adhere strictly to the idea that, like, yep, the only, like, your life absolutely sucks, and the only thing that you can do is just try to take down a megacorp.
No.
Not quite. At least that's what I think. Honestly,
hell, we're gonna find out. Right?
It's early. It's
Yeah.
early yet. We don't have all the
working.
answers, except Liz. Liz has all the answers.
I do.
Oh, spooky. I like it.
Do.
Neo Rokugan, will it be houses or corporations? Not ready to answer that yet.
I mean, I think that the existence of, the crab and the crane, like all these different groups, I
that
think
will absolutely still exist.
they will exist. I think they really lend themselves to a cyberpunk universe, but what exact term or flavor directions we spin them, I think still being percolated. But I think it fits beautifully in a cyberpunk world.
No problem.
Requiem Lost is having 3 seasons under your belt now, 1 Star Wars and 2 Exalted. How do you feel it affects? So I think, how do seasons affect the stories?
That's what you mean by 3 seasons. I'm like,
let me know if that's wrong, Requiem, but I think that's what you meant. It has to do with the fact that we are doing a season format.
Stories feel I was gonna say they feel a lot shorter. That's actually not fair. It's
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Was I just looking tired?
No, you put your cards away.
oh,
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
okay.
I was just going doop doop doop, like
No,
starting to
that's
tidy up my
totally fine.
station.
I was just because I assume you still know where to find them if you need them.
I do.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why. In hindsight, I was like, this eraser shouldn't be here anymore. Oh look, like I just
You
started
just, like, pack?
papers.
Wasn't
Like,
even-
I'm cleaning up. Fuck this.
wasn't even paying attention. I was just like, do.
Yeah.
We're good.
I was gonna say like, oh, the stories are shorter because they're in seasons, but that's not true either. And I think back to CTS, like we had story blocks that kind of ran a certain number of episodes, I don't know, 20-ish episodes or whatever, like story blocks. I think it affects the storytelling in the sense that we know we have like a waypoint where we can be like save and continue, or like quit to title screen, play something else. You know, like that's it's a good feeling because I feel like we know that at the end of every season, kind of where that comes to, we all probably want to try to find a nice resting point for the characters so we can pick up again or not, and it's not a big deal either way.
Yeah, it's a good like check-in.
Yeah.
Reminder to check in with ourselves about like how did these past 20 episodes work for you, and is there anything you want to see differently going forward? Because while we tried to do that frequently with Changeling, it was hard to find those moments, whereas with seasons it's baked in automatically.
But we also don't have a set seasons or 20 episodes. Like at the moment,
That's true.
Yeah.
Star Wars ended a bit faster because that's where we were at. And we did 21 and 19 episodes. And so I think we're probably broadly going to tend towards roughly 20-ish episodes, but there's no set number either. So it's when we get to like episode 10 and then episode 15 is when we start talking about, okay, what's happening in the next couple of months? What's happening in the story? Are we ready to wrap up this season? Do we think we're going to want to continue? And then we get to keep checking in every week, being like, okay, we only have 3 episodes left. Do you think you're going to want to do more?
So,
2.
yeah.
1. You have to fucking decide. It's the last episode. Like, come on, folks.
Are we there or not? Yeah.
It's nice, though, because it gives us that chance to actually think about it from a, you know, because this is a curated product. It's not just us sitting around at our own table, like, fucking around for our own fun. We do that. It is fun for us.
Yeah, I was going to say, like...
But we also are thinking about it from more of a curated sense of what you folks enjoy, so...
It's funny because originally I think the idea of seasons came about as we want to make sure that the audience knows that they can just come on in.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that that's actually been the case.
Yeah.
I haven't heard, at least, and please tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any instance where someone's like, well, I missed season 1 of ExalTwitch Academy, but I decided to come in for season 2, and that was perfect because that was a good jumping on point for me. Like, I don't think that's what's happened. It turns out that it's more useful for us.
Yeah.
Like you said, I like the idea that we also were like, yeah, we're ready after we play for what's essentially 5 months, give or take. We're ready to take a break.
Yeah.
And if the off season is 3 weeks and we just do 3 one-shots, or if it's 3 months, like it's going to be for this, no. Okay.
This is good stuff.
Then... I mean, is that going to be our new emote? You holding a green card, but also
with all the
flipping
like.
off?
I mean, that would be a very accurate emote because that is
seems to be
me.
all of it?
Oh, Dio says the seasons were super helpful.
Well, that's good.
Great.
Well,
Thank
that's
you. Thank you
actually-
for telling us.
Yeah, feedback is always welcome.
Because we
In
also did a
here, on
recap.
Discord, in
Yep.
our YouTube comments. Podcast, I don't think you can comment, but you can find our Discord in the links.
Yeah. So it is helpful for us to sort of be like, yeah, okay, season 1. It's also a little easier to be like, when did that happen? Season 1 or season 2? Other than, oh yeah, that was episode
Holy shit.
6.
Trying to find things in CTS is impossible.
It is an absolute nightmare.
I just can't do it.
I like have a vague sense, and then I like click
early,
into a
right?
random episode, and I'm like, no, this was 20 episodes later.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
But yeah, to me, it's knowing that we can take a break is good. It helps us structure the story, which is good. But it also, for me, is a really handy way of thinking, this is how, like, we regularly, like you said, we have to check in and be like, do we actually want to keep playing this? Or are we just doing this because this is easy?
Mm-hmm.
Changeling went on for a very long time because we were having a lot of fun. And it would have ended earlier if I had my say, and I'm glad that I was talked out of it. But that's the kind of thing that it's good to have a check-in and be like, hey, so I'm wondering whether we should wrap up. But then if everyone else is like,
No.
then I'm like, great. My players are having a good time. I was still enjoying myself. I was just like, oh, do we still have more to tell?
Look, 100 episodes, you know,
And it turns out that we still had more to tell even after we were fucking done with it.
And a wedding. And another wedding.
Yep.
So yeah, I think seasons are actually a good thing, and I think we'll hold on to them. But that leads us to a question by Celtic Knots, which
I was wondering.
Important. Have you narrowed down any of the one-shots or limited campaigns you're going to do between now and Neo Rokugan?
Yes. Next question. Sorry.
Accurate.
Hey.
Fucking Scott.
Woo! Excuse me. It's my birthday. I can dab if I want.
In fact, you can make everyone else dab if you want.
Oh, but dare I?
I don't know. How much power do you have coursing through your
Guys,
veins?
can I get like a little lame dab from everybody?
Of course.
Does it have to be lame dab?
Yes, it has to be kind of lame.
Oh God.
That's not lame.
was-
That's
That's
Will.
pretty fucking lame.
It was good, but it was like, woof.
Terraria for
what's
Life.
going on here? Yeah.
So this is actually,
I am coming back to it. Celtic
we're going to
Knots,
come back to this. So we will come back to this Celtic Knots. It is important.
Seriously.
But
Sorry.
this is also something that I just want to make sure we have a look at. If I can make a comment, if you want seasons to be better, jump on points. I really think the season catch-up should be much longer. Like there was not a lot of wrap-up that you need to do before watching season 2. Problem is, getting somebody to watch a 1 minute or 2 minute YouTube video is easy. Getting somebody to watch like a 15 or 20 minute YouTube video, they'll never bother.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
So it's a tough question. But well said. Maybe we should have them.
If we can find a way to like, expand a bit while still keeping it watchable, yeah, we're gonna look into it for sure.
That kind of feedback is useful though.
Yes.
If it's like, okay, 1 minute wasn't enough, 2 minutes might be better. Like if it makes more sense for us to do a 2 minute wrap up and then people feel caught up, I'd rather us do the 2 minutes. But if people are like, no, we need like a 30-minute video, okay, at that point, just read all of the wiki summaries and you'll be done in half an hour, right? Like, so it's finding that balance. But if 1 minute is too simple, then let's do the 2 minute version.
We'll do a dramatic reading of the wiki summaries as a video.
Oh my God.
Patches pulls out her gun and blasts someone's head
Blat.
off. Also, she makes a really badass, clever retort.
Yeah, there's
Like,
a
of the
big
game.
Specialty, yeah.
there's a balance. There's a balance between wanting to get the information out there and then wanting to also make sure that we stay sane. We all have jobs that we got to do. We have other activities we like to do, and all of this stuff takes a lot of time. And we're not trying to make this a business, right? So there are other questions. But,
Percival, just show up at the Spark and we can chat.
Yay.
so back to games. I think that we can confirm a few things. We're not
And then
going to
maybe we
confirm.
can get a few of these in too.
Oh yeah, we'll get that's actually next because
Yay.
we're actually out of questions at this point.
Okay, cool.
Hey.
Wow.
Out of questions that I've selected. Some of them we kind of answered already, and some of them
Yeah,
are
we've-
questions I can't answer at this time. So we're not going to confirm dates because we just want to make sure
Yeah.
of them, but we can confirm a few of the games, not all of them, but a few of the games we're playing, and some of the people who might be joining. But I'm going to leave that to these three because fuck all y'all.
Oh.
I'm getting drunk.
What?
Straight gin.
So I'm just going to do the broad stuff because honestly, that's all I know. We are going to be doing a series of short one-shots and longer mini campaigns between now and the end of March, because I'm going to be here and there and everywhere, because thankfully theater is back and I have work again. Unfortunately, it is taking me away from my Sunday nights, even though Sunday is the traditional day off.
Damn it, dear.
Beggars can't be choosers.
No, for sure.
But some of the sweet shit coming up.
I thought
I can go.
Yeah, could you
Because I'm last. Is the
you're
thing.
last.
Yeah.
Okay, so my thing's
Or
first.
most likely.
We don't know what
We don't know what
they're
order.
in.
Yeah.
Right.
Not
Okay.
making
Fine.
establishing.
No,
that
that's
order.
fair.
In no order at all.
I will be running a 6-week Blades in the Dark campaign.
Probably 6 weeks.
Probably 6 weeks. Thank you very much. We don't know dates. Approximately 6 weeks long. A Blades in the Dark campaign. It will be run. I will be STing for Liz, for John, and special guest, friends of the show may know, full party, Jess Files, who is also, of course, on this channel with a bunch of one-shots in the past as well.
Yeah.
You can check those out on our YouTube channel. I'm really looking forward to it. And, of course, if you end up available in
I
an
might
that
NPC
time,
randomly.
you might jump in, which is
We'll
going to be
see.
really cool. I'm really jazzed about that.
I'm gonna be busting out some more Good Society.
Uh-huh.
Fwah, fwah, fwah.
We're going to have that music back, eh? I actually
I think I still have the
Playlist.
I
playlist.
dream of that playlist.
I
I
was
actually still
just
listen to it.
So proud of that playlist.
Well done.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
that was a very satisfying afternoon.
Nice.
We will also be enjoying a short campaign. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 sessions long, something like that, of Arc, which is a relatively new RPG dealing with characters attempting to avert an apocalypse, which uses real-time mechanics in order
fudge.
to continue the game.
So stressful. It's going to be amazing.
We'll put links to these games on the Discord for people to have a look. But Arc is also a fucking beautiful book. Its graphic design is amazing. And it's got some really interesting ideas about how to use real time in the context of games.
Do we mention our other
We can
almost
mention our other
entirely confirmed?
guests. Oh, it's a
special
confirmed
guest?
guest.
It's
Yeah.
we're just not
We just don't know
exactly
which
sure of the
game it
date
will
yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Jonathan Silver will be another special guest. So
Yeah.
get hype.
Our friend JT, known for voices on certain video games, and also who played Arthur/Noctis/ other characters in LARPs.
That's right. Who has not appeared on RPGClinic before,
Yeah.
other than on Thursday,
Technically, it was on Thursday where
lobbing trebuchets at
Lob-
me. That was a good time. That was a good time.
God,
there
that was
may
funny.
be more games and there may be more special guests. We can't confirm that at this time.
This is what we
And-
can confirm.
I'm really hoping to find some time somewhere, and a week to at least try to offer something rather than just showing up and being like, "Hi guys,
Ding me."
what are we playing? Give me a character sheet and I'll just roll some dice and ask you questions." I haven't slept in 12 hours.
Oh my God.
Do
12
anything.
days.
I haven't slept in
hours.
12 hours.
Sorry.
I mean, technically,
I just came
have
off.
slept
Sorry,
just
like
I'm
12
thinking
hours.
a 12-hour day, like a 10 out of 12. So
Right.
I just worked like 14 hours,
Oof,
12 hours, 14 hours. So we'll see.
12's ridiculous.
But yeah, at Kung Fu Fenris, I think
Yes.
we're pretty sure that Good Society will just be a one session. But
we'll see.
you never know for sure.
I mean, if it's also zombie, never mind. That's a whole other.
I
That'll be
know,
2
I know.
sessions.
Not
Pride and
positive.
Prejudice and zombies.
They do have the horror one.
Mm.
But would it be like the first session is basically like Pride and Prejudice, and then you're like, but wait, and it's sort of like
The
Bob
very
Barker pushing the button, and it's instead of hole in one, it's hole in one or 2. And you're like, but then the zombies attack.
Yeah.
Well, we already talked to Jess about like a secret about their character that hadn't been revealed. But I don't want to say it, even though
No,
I know
you
I've
definitely
I've
don't.
confirmed
They're
it in other streams
zombie.
just in case folks take their same characters.
Oh, well, yeah. My character wasn't my character sick. Didn't they fall ill at the end? So
Yes,
clearly
it's
they got the zombie-itis.
To a zombie.
And so, Kid is there, embroidering. Fuck the patriarchy, as they
Yes.
do. And being all like,
Fuck.
the 2
What
men
happened
that I
with
was...
that again?
It's probably shoved in a drawer somewhere. The 2 men that they were into, ran off together, and then they get a little bitey.
Oh my god.
I also know just the dice I'm going to use for Blades in the Dark. They're going to be my fucking honkin' casino dice.
Nice.
I'm just going to fucking go for it. Fuck. So,
Plague.
Arc, Good Society, Blades in the Dark, stuff to look forward to, Jess Fildes, Jonathan Silver, possibly even more. And then we get to go right into, and we'll be talking about this on Thursdays as we go through, Neo Rokugan, our cyberpunk take on Legend of the Five Rings 5th edition. So pretty cool all around. Remember that on Thursdays, we're gonna get to this, but remember that on Thursdays we'll be talking about our upcoming campaign. But then also we do have our 1 week to air, which we have to decide on. Are we even playing this Thursday?
I can't make Thursday, but
so it
doesn't mean other people can't.
It might just be me talking about role play.
Oh.
Oh fuck.
Oh no.
Starting L5R.
So yeah, it might actually just be that.
The setting.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about the Crane family.
So then we'll have that. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to ask a few questions, my questions for you. All the players have at least the 5 members of the Hearth of the One True Bell written on their pieces of paper. We're going to ask a few questions, and I'm going to ask for each person to come up with their answer for this. And if you have any questions that you want to ask them, now's the time for this, as long as the answer can be picked among these 5. It could also be just picked among the PCs. So, very well. The first question that I am going to ask you, assuming that your player character had to romance someone in the Hearth they were not romantically engaged with, who would you pick? It would have to be someone you have not romantically engaged with, and you cannot pick yourself.
Damn it.
We know
I gotta
Pyres
switch that.
romances himself a few times.
Yeah, it's true.
Bucky.
3, 2, 1.
Don't think this will come as a surprise to anybody.
Not Gale Whispered.
Sorry, Gale.
I wouldn't choose either of you, so we're good.
Exactly. I know
This
where
is
your
perfect.
consent lies,
There you
okay?
We all
That's actually
anyone but the
I'm gonna
What are you
quickly
talking
answer
about,
this.
Oresta? I mean,
It's
you're
not-
very
It's
strong.
not fair. Oh, did it not show up? Where is it?
You're very strong, but
Uh,
I don't understand.
Terraria for Life asks,
Oresta.
for some reason that it's not coming up.
Oh,
Rude.
Yeah, super rude.
features.
Featured chat, what are you doing? Are you considering releasing a homebrew setting supplement for those of us who would want to be running it? Most likely not.
It's too much work.
It's I wouldn't want to put out anything that I wouldn't consider of a professional level of quality.
Yeah.
And because that's literally my job, I'm not about to start doing my job a second time
Free.
over. So no, probably not. I won't stop you from taking some ideas from us, and maybe I will distribute some notes and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to be doing an official release, or at least there's no plans to do so at this time.
Mhm.
So I appreciate the interest.
Yeah.
Okay. Vieren is bearing down on you.
Oh, fuck.
There's only one way for you to escape. One person must be left behind while the other 4 make their escape. It is certain that whoever is left behind will be the one who dies, even if it's Oresta, because Oresta is strong but not ultimately strong. You have to pick one character out of the Hearth to be that sacrifice.
Fuck.
And here's the kicker.
Yeah.
You may not pick yourself.
Okay.
Hooray!
I mean,
Liz has been waiting to play this.
I've never chosen an answer.
so fast.
3.
I looked at her eyes and I know what the answer is already. Happy.
Oh, this is so bad. Okay, fine.
1.
Yay! And I'm Gil. I'm so sorry. Oh God, I'm sorry.
Oh,
so
God.
Huh?
Wow, that's rough.
Why Siantel?
So it's just going to be the triangle and Gale walking around.
Look, Oresta couldn't choose herself, and like
God.
at the end of the campaign where we are right now, still not sure about this whole. Oh yeah, I've already been through the academy.
Oh, fair.
How many secrets have you kept from us?
She has not been through the academy.
Oh,
I will reveal that now. That was
well, Oresta doesn't know
that
that.
was a lie. Yeah, that's fair.
Oresta is very suspicious of
God.
Siantel, which is actually fair.
Happy birthday.
Thanks so much. No, that was actually really funny.
So,
and I totally
why
Let's pick
Flavienne?
Pyres.
Wife Livienne?
Yeah.
Complicates.
This really sucks to say. I think Pyres would evaluate in that moment. He would evaluate the 5 of them in terms of like how much they
Usefulness.
see contributing to society in the future. Isn't that heavy?
Yeah, that's pretty heavy. Speaking of heavy, Pyres?
Gale
Sorry,
Gale would spin his sacrifice for their cause.
Question.
Pyres' face is the most well-known, so him giving up his life to
Best
further
martyr.
their cause is a very
Wow.
savvy
Yeah.
thing to do, and I'm really sorry.
God
She would
damn
do it in a
sociopath.
That was my second choice. I was like, best martyr would be Pyres.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
But like my
Martyr Pyres. I'm just saying it's
someone's got to die, Pyres, and you were gonna make a beautiful corpse.
Oh, prettiest
Just
corpse.
incredible.
oh boy.
All right, well, we have another question coming up. We'll see if it'll pop up on the screen now. I doubt it.
Cute.
If all of you are to die, who would be the most likely to come back as a liminal?
Can you
Remind me which one?
remind us liminal? Yeah.
I will
Sorry.
actually give you the straight up answer from the book because
Answer another daily double.
I'm honestly because I just don't want to fuck it up
No, it's fair.
because liminals are one of the exalted. I will admit
Just like
where
I just don't.
Oh, Frankenstein
there's like
exalted.
3 death-related exalted,
mind, I have my answer.
death-adjacent exalted types.
Because I was
So-
like, abyssal? In front.
Liminals are created with dug-up corpses, dirt, and thaumaturgy, the result of an attempted resurrection. The dead cannot be brought back, but sometimes a strange force of the underworld puts something new in their shell when someone makes the attempt. A liminal might be a child yanked back from a too early grave by a grieving parent, or the result of a powerful god trying to reanimate a perfect servant. They look like mortals, but their flaring animal reveals their inner monster, patchwork stitched together skin and necrotic limbs. Play a liminal exalt if you want to be a doll on strings struggling for freedom, a mournful protector of the living from the dead, or if you only find solace in the company of the restless dead.
I mean,
Sounds
So
like
here's the thing,
This is weird.
which means that it would literally be their corpse.
Did you want more Slua in your world?
It
this
would
is
be a
difficult.
corpse, but it would not be like, oh, it's Siantel, but back from the dead. It would be, oh, it's Siantel's corpse with something else inside it.
Nice. I still have a perfect answer,
Right.
and I'm
Ugh,
We'll see.
I changed my answer halfway through.
interesting.
Go ahead.
So I think that Gale would be the one to bring Oresta back as a liminal.
Legit. I accept that Gale would do that.
She would, if Oresta died, she's like, well, we need
The
some
meat
version
shield,
of her.
an undead meat shield.
God.
Thanks, Win Games. Hashtag tank win.
Everybody crawl inside her to stay warm.
I must defend my hearth.
Erotica.
Pyres, would you like to get intimate?
Oh my God.
Yes, but no, but yes.
Oresta Clegane.
Yeah.
Actually, Clegane would be a
legit.
very good example of liminal.
Sorry.
Point.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So I will admit that
Fair.
liminal, I just don't care. I'm sorry. I'm not into the
You're
idea
not
of
like 14 and an edgelord. I get it.
That's true. But it's also the same reason why I don't like the equivalent World of Darkness example, which are what are they called again?
The animated corpses in the world of darkness.
Yeah, there's a specific like like basically the Frankenstein's monster version of it.
God,
I forget what they're
Right.
called.
Oh,
Someone
like
will help me out there.
Prometheans. Like they're-
Prometheans, that's
yeah.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
Prometheans. So there, we don't need a rest of her personality, just
Yeah.
her body. So this
Yeah.
is
This is perfect.
Yeah,
Hence
it's
my
for me.
freak out face. And
Make it
being
during the story
hard.
finish.
Like,
Pyres, I need
it's
electricity.
just
Lots
it's
of it.
just not a story that interests me that much, but you know,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Oh, fuck.
Nothing wrong with that. Good question, though.
That was great.
Great question.
That's a great question. And if anybody has, of course, any other questions,
understand why it would be Gale out
for
of
them in, still use
Gale
the
would volunteer as
'cause
tribute.
I can then
She would,
see
yes.
it. It'll still queue it up for me, even if I can't display it on screen. If I want to play the dead, I play Geist.
Legit.
If I want to play the dead, I play Grim Fandango.
Nice.
Loving you is like loving the dead.
Nice.
You're supposed to keep talking over me.
Shit. Oh, God, shit.
In case they're singing, we're all just like. All right. Of these 5, who is the one most likely to end up in a drunken marriage?
Like getting super drunk and then thinking a marriage was a good idea.
Getting super drunk and waking up the next morning and you are married.
Sorry.
Terraria, that's totally cool. I'm just because it's not my personal favorite doesn't mean that it can't be yours.
Can I get some peas in the chat, please? Thank you very much.
3, 2, 1.
I actually didn't choose me. Can you believe that? I chose Flavienne because I think that would be funnier.
Because I think that's
Thank you so much, everybody.
Flavienne's probably already married. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised.
Oh yes,
Uh,
up in the north.
Did I not mention that I am married?
It wouldn't be an Exalted game without at least one
A secret
surprise
marriage? Yeah, fair.
All right.
Legit.
Your PC has to go on a mission. This mission will involve stealth, it will involve a frontal assault, and it will involve intrigue. You must pick one to accompany you. It will involve all 3 of these things in equal measure.
This was so easy.
3, 2, 1.
It was close. Nice. Nice.
That
The
was
most
a big
successful
deal.
operation in the gala was when Gale and Siadel went off.
That is
alone.
correct, actually. Yeah.
So I
And
would,
we were just
I would
doing
wonder
our own
with
I'm like
fucking thing.
stealth. I can't stealth. I need Gale Whispered for that. Strategy?
Who needs
Gale.
stealth when you look like this?
we
Like,
need
just
Pyres
ridiculous.
like to be the distraction.
Hey, look at distraction.
It's my
Oh.
shirt on your floor.
Oh my.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
I can only empty my cup so many times.
Yeah, seriously. My cup runneth over. The opposite.
Amazing. Thank you, folks.
My
I'm very
cup
flattered.
runneth into my
Empty.
mouth. All right. Now,
I respect.
Mm.
the unthinkable has occurred.
No.
Leanne is back from. Leanne was never killed.
Okay.
We'll put it this way. Leanne was never killed, but someone has to kill her. You have to give the command to force someone to kill her, and it cannot be Pyres. Who do you trust to take on this particular event? Duck Fate, yeah.
I can't.
It cannot be Pyres. He's already killed her once.
Just can't.
We know Pyres can do it.
Just can't do it.
3, 2, 1.
Nice. I
Oh,
really
yeah,
want
we-
to.
for once we agree.
Yeah.
Nice. Go
I
team.
really wanted to pick you, Gale, but I
You
can't.
could've.
No, I can't. You can't trust you.
Yeah, no. She.
Well, because as soon as I
She's
found out
trying
she
so
was a
hard.
Sidereel, I
Yeah,
had
you're
her
like,
Keep her
alive.
alive, yeah.
I need to get information.
That's good,
I
guys.
Talking
need her to
to
join
from
my
under the-
crew.
The stage. Come on, give me your secrets before you get him murdered. Go on, talk to me.
Come on, just tell
there's
me.
blood on my face.
Oh, God.
no. That was good. Good
Um,
work.
Good shout, everyone.
Siontel is
Well done.
trustworthy and
And
able
efficient.
to stab a person.
Stab us.
Stabby.
Okay.
Oh my god, good times.
So funny. I love doing these.
Yeah, it's good times.
It's the beach episode we never got to have
Oh.
because the only beach episode that we had was apparently fishing a corpse out of the water.
Or walking one into it.
Oh, we gotta.
Yeah, we'll get.
Yeah,
I've
we'll get-
started a question. We'll get to that
Okay,
one.
cool.
It is the beach episode we never got to have. You are looking to impress the locals, in some kind of display. It could just be lying out on the beach. It could be a fierce game of volleyball.
Mm.
Could be swimming prowess. Who would you pick as the person you would want to represent the House of True Bells, assuming that it had to be fun in the sun.
I have made my selection. You need to punch someone in the gooch.
Oh, that's not cool, dude. I don't need to be punched in the gooch.
Right in my gooch.
Right in the gooch.
Incredible.
Oh, I wonder if I'm going to show up in Disconcordia.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Why?
They've been to Halifax once without encountering him.
Why would you? Yeah,
There's
like 250,000 people there. Yay!
Oh, team, we're finally getting back in sync.
We did it.
Almost chose Oresta.
I almost chose Vivienne because water.
I just think
So
Pyres would put on more of
I
a
heard
show.
that there was
Pyres would
this,
put on more of
this
a show.
super
The
rad
rest
chick
would be-
named Aiko here.
Be super impressive.
I was just wondering, if I could like ask her out for coffee or something.
No, she already has a selkie.
I can
So
run
if she wants fun,
What's a selkie? I don't know.
it's like a merman.
Merman, Dad.
That's all right.
Mermando.
I have a dick.
Mermando
What?
has
Mermen
a
don't have
too.
dicks. Everybody knows
Hi,
fish don't have dicks.
Anyway,
Anyway.
keep eating, Scott. Quick.
Hi, that are toasted.
Grubermensch asks, you can send one member of the Hearth back in time to deliver a message at the beginning of the school year. Who do you send? I will remind you that at the beginning of the school year, you had not been placed into a fang together yet.
Excellent.
So can you just repeat the beginning of that?
You can send one member of the Hearth back in time to deliver a message at the beginning of the school year. Who do you send? All right, Nathan. Hey, what's up? I'm totally in this Final Fantasy XIV guild with this guy whose name is Nathan Fletcher, and I think he's pretty sweet.
He's got ears and a tail.
His glamours are off the fucking chain, dude.
Like a little fox. An owl.
And if you want me to record that for you for some reason for your stream, Pook, I totally will.
Fiverr.com/John Verrill.
I'm worth $5.
Worth $5.
Don't
I'm worth
look that up. I
$5.
presume John is not on Fiverr, but I shouldn't actually presume that. I'm sorry.
Fiverr. Yeah.
New tier.
Yes! Oh, yes! Whoa, dude!
Radical. My gooch.
My goodness.
Right in
Just
the
says-
Pook, give me a call. We'll figure something out. All right, bro.
Ah,
Okay. You can send one member of the Hearth back in time to deliver a message at the beginning of the school year. Who do you send? 3, 2, 1.
We all picked ourselves.
All right. I have my reasoning. I want to hear everybody else's too. That's what I want to hear.
Well, Grubermensch didn't specify how long the message could be, so Gale shows up and tells you exactly what to do to survive.
for like hours.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
For
she
hours.
just talks your head off.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Whereas my logic was, I think Pyres is kind of the only person who has like a big rep at the like a lot of rep, even at the beginning of the year. So people would be more willing to be like, oh, it's that Pyres guy from the future, like more willing to listen.
Pyres.
Whereas Oresta was calm, stable, and straightforward, and able to relate to people. Whereas I feel like Gale is a bit intense and really information based, and people might be like, "Who the fuck are you? What are you
Whoa.
doing?" And Pyres is really big and I'm so beautiful and cool. Whereas I feel like Oresta was the happy medium without being like Vivienne and Santel, who were a little. I feel like there's a slight smallerness. They weren't as big as the three of our characters. So yeah, that's why I picked myself.
Would each of you have to figure out I guess I have to wear an eye patch to show that time has passed?
That from the.
Fuck no.
If you remember this,
My muscles are just twice as big. I kept lifting.
I think that's how that works, right?
Oh God.
There's no theoretical maximum for muscles.
I mean, my
All right.
ox body levels kept growing.
Okay, this question is not required. You don't have to answer this one. But
Challenge.
in keeping with the general thirst of this
Ah,
challenge,
sure, yeah.
General thirst.
you, Kate, Scott, Elizabeth, must choose one of these characters to spend one night of passion with, possibly with more promise in the future. You are allowed to pick your own PC.
It's hard.
Yeah.
That's what Pyres said.
It is hard. This is going to be a hard one.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I didn't grab one name right away.
Immediately.
Decide.
This feels.
That's why I said you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to.
No, this feels right. I was going to finish that
Oh.
sentence with this.
Oh,
Feels
this feels
correct.
like my dreams.
I didn't say that.
3, 2, 1.
Nice. That's what you like to see. I mean, it does make sense. Established.
So, John,
It would be excellent.
It's got that
are you
baguette
just
energy.
gonna start talking to us as Flavienne? Is that how you get us all into the same
Got
bed?
that baguette energy.
I am here from the past, or perhaps the future. I'm not sure.
All right then.
Sploosh.
Requiem Lost asks. Here we'll put Pyres' theme on. Requiem Lost asks, you were forced to let one of your hearth take the fall that would likely result in their public execution.
Ooh.
Who would you choose?
Oh.
I've made my selection. Hey, Gale, remember when you... No, I'm just kidding. I do. Just kidding.
Go for it. 3, 2, 1.
Yep. No, interesting, right?
Well, Pyres, if Pyres is publicly executed, that means the cause that he's fighting for is
Legitimized.
delegitimized.
No, martyred.
No, not if he's executed.
Yes,
He's
he is.
executed to take the fall for something.
Oh.
So it's bad scene. So I would choose Siantel, but I'm in love with her, so I choose Flavienne.
Yeah, well, by your logic, then it's Oresta. But by my logic of martyrdom, Pyres. So,
Pyres should die for the cause, but
Yeah.
not be framed.
I really just want Pyres to die for a cause. That's all I've
you
ever
would make a
wanted.
beautiful corpse, okay?
Yep.
You would also make a beautiful living person in my bed.
That's
Fair.
correct.
Fair.
Or a
Flavienne's
dead
bed.
person in you. Yeah. Yes, or in Flavienne.
What?
On the floor or on the table. Oh my god.
Select
Yes.
a new emperor or empress for the realm. You cannot pick Pyres.
Oh,
Sorry. That was a good cackle. Sorry, folks.
oh no.
Jesus, these are my options?
God, this is the
Offense.
shit.
Oh, because if Pyres was an option, it'd be fine.
Well,
I got her.
he's pretty and he's speech good.
But like
this is what we
green.
need.
And also, do I? Anyway, let's talk about that another day. Green,
Okay,
green,
I'm playing
ready.
a bunch of characters who don't sass. I need to get it out somehow.
Let's get it out there.
We haven't had music this whole time.
Oh.
No. Is it not in the thing?
We haven't had music this whole fucking.
Well, hang on. No, because it was playing at some point. I
It
don't
was
know how
not
far back,
playing. It was playing when we were in pre-show.
though. In pre-show.
We haven't had music this
Sorry,
whole
team. We've been
time.
playing music for you
Fuck.
and for us.
I've been curating the
Choosing
music. I've
songs
been
has
going back
been
and forth.
great.
I've really tried it.
I really
Fuck.
liked it.
Oh,
Fuck.
okay. Well, if Ellie Spot liked it,
Fuckity,
honestly,
fuckity,
that's
fuck,
not
fuck,
bad.
fuck.
Now you get some
We
music
aren't
in it.
editing it.
No.
Fuck you.
You just give me a mic and I'll do some back.
Oh, I really liked it. I could hear you all very clear.
Oh,
Oh shit.
John just covered.
Did we just like renew our epidemic sound license for no goddamn reason?
No, we need it for good society. Excellent.
All right, who is it? Who's the next Scarlet Emperor or Empress?
3, 2, 1.
Whoop, sorry. Yay!
I want to vote for myself. So I vote for the person who would make the best decisions, but probably not necessarily be able to keep the throne.
Would definitely
Social-
be hated universally.
Yeah.
I like the Scarlet Empress, but without the ability to, bend whole nations to her will.
Oh, Pukajutsu comes up with a banger of a question. Select a member of the Hearth to be the next season's big bad.
This is gonna be so easy.
So this is assuming that it's the three of you are playing different PCs and that you go up against one of these 5.
1000%.
Plausible or most fun?
It just says select.
It just says, it's just this pick. You'll be able to explain your pick.
No. That joke would only work once. I'll tell you what I was thinking in a moment here. I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Yes. Oh!
Gale
I've got another health bar and another one and
shit.
another one.
This isn't even my final form.
Yeah.
It's actually true. Yeah, we're in big trouble.
I have to assume that by this point, Gale has at least 10 Anathema fighting behind her. And they've basically convinced her that they would do better breaking from the realm entirely, burning it all down to start anew. So they start crossing creation,
I thought
Bye.
leaving devastation in their wake.
I thought it'd be fun if it was Flavienne.
Oh,
You know what I mean? But then it would just be once. She'd be like, I actually am from the heptagram. Like, that'd be funny
She
for
actually
like
does
2
like
seconds.
zaps
But
us,
yeah, exactly.
Siantel's like the actual head of House of Celsi, and she's been playing at like the triple con this whole time.
Not.
Look, I take a half second if that's the case.
I really tried to focus on making sure I could make this whole thing. Used to be that I could, and then I just wasn't as thirsty.
Sure. Oh, you get it all out during the sessions. Yeah. Good.
He's not as thirsty as he used to be.
Excuse me.
That's why I started getting into relationships with other pieces.
All right.
This is so fun.
Yay.
Oh, here comes
Oh.
a question. Which Hearth member will be remembered the longest? And then which Hearth member will have the longest lasting influence? So and then we have another one from Reckoning. So first, which Hearth member will be remembered the longest?
Okay.
Remembered as being the longest.
Siantel, right? She's tallest, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's totally
That's
what
what you meant? Okay, good. Just checking.
Resta?
I
Oh, yeah, no. Super sorry. Yes, correct.
San ni ich.
Oresta and Pyres!
Yay!
Hooray.
Purge.
But
Okay, now which Hearth member will have the longest lasting influence?
Now it's fortunate. I see.
feel like I
everyone else
should
is
be
going
answering
with this
these, but maybe I
question
shouldn't
now.
Why am I not answering these
I
questions?
don't know, John. You should be jumping
you
in.
got pieces
got a
of
little
paper
pile of
there.
If you want to.
Asshole.
If you,
Whoa.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
I need to get my sass out somehow.
Yeah. By calling me an asshole?
Oh my God.
Is there room on your couch tonight?
Okay, fine. Scott, you're an asshole. Liz, you're an asshole.
I am.
great. Now we're all going away.
To where?
Oh,
Our house.
Oh, fair.
oh.
Which of the Hearth eventually managed? Oh, I like that question
Well, I
too.
get
Okay,
all the
perfect.
blankets.
Longest felt influence.
3, 2, 1.
This time I selected Pyres. I see how it is. Okay. So you're all making some pretty big assumptions about Gale Whispered's effectiveness in getting an Anathema army together.
No, in spreading chess
Oh,
moves.
Gateway.
Gateway moves, thank you. I'd already forgotten what gateway was. It's just like not important information anymore.
And in placing Pyres on the throne and in marrying off
Yeah,
a bunch
the
of...
Hearth.
I always imagined you as a more behind the throne type.
yeah,
person.
that's why I'm not going to be remembered, but what I did will be.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the
not like
influence.
they're not going to be able to attribute these things to Gale.
That was the first one.
Interesting.
It was Pyres.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah,
Okay, I get.
yeah.
Who's going to be most likely to stab you in the back? You cannot choose yourself or Siantel.
Oh, God.
There's a very few options remaining.
I don't use stabbing
I
weapons.
feel like this is hardest for me.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the
What does
two.
that say about you, Liz? Or sorry, you, Gale.
3,
Mistake.
2, 1.
Yeah. Oh.
Ooh.
I think Oresta is the one who is the most likely to make a hard decision and then also not tell anyone about it.
Fair.
Yeah, fair.
That would be a backstabbing. That's a bad one.
That's bad.
Aw, thanks, Kung Fu Fenders.
Thank you.
I think Pyres would make a decision for his family or for his fame. And not necessarily prioritize us once he gets to a certain level of fame.
I think Gale Whispered has essentially said she would.
Whatever
I said
was
I knew how to kill you if I had to.
tactically
That's the
most
difference.
advantageous, and at some point in the course of our exalted lifespans, it's going to be tactically advantageous to stab me in the back.
The bot's not supposed to be dead. Why? For life? Did anyone try to use the bot?
Yeah, exclamation mark quote.
If you're talking about the
Featured chat.
text appearing on screen, we don't know why featured chat isn't working. But that's not
kind
that's
of
not
what
our bot.
featured chat does.
kind of
Whee!
stuff working. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's funny because quote starts with a Q. It's putting all the quotes in as questions.
Oh shit.
interesting.
Uh-oh.
I should have made it like exclamation mark quote or something. Anyway, or exclamation mark Q. Anyway, which of the Hearth eventually manages to win against Gale Whispered and Gateway? And I will say you cannot pick Siantel because she has defeated.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That
Yeah,
seems like a
Whispered
nice,
Gateway.
easy. Oh. Ugh. Yeah, I guess.
Well, Gale can't defeat Gale then, so that only leaves me 3 options.
Yeah, it only leaves you with
Only
3
three
options.
idiots.
Scott.
Holy
No, I tend
shit.
to agree.
What the hell is that?
And I approve this message.
This is from 2017.
The hell were we doing back then?
3,
Assy.
2. It didn't show Kung Fu Fenris's total bits.
Oh,
Oh, interesting.
that is mysterious. All right.
Okay.
Oh. All right. We all have a lot of faith in Oresta's ability to outlast.
Eventually
Gale.
learn something.
Oh, jeez.
I have faith in Oresta, but I also have faith that Pyres will luck sack his way into it.
Yes.
Luck
Very
sack.
true.
A Gitimian Gale shows up in the challenge.
There we go. Oh, so I should have just done like
Upside down Gale Whispered. Yeah, there it is. I love it.
Stir up some
Mr.
lag.
Red.
I get it.
Oh, there it is. There's the.
8.
Oh. Scooter Scoot Sass Free. Thank you.
All right, here we go. Ellie Spot's got one.
Thank you very much. Connor.
If the House of Bells was still a thing, who would be most likely to go back there as a teacher?
Oh, that's sweet.
That is sweet.
Chura for Life did ask which member would be able to make it the best in Neo Rokugan, but because we don't know what Neo Rokugan is, I don't really feel comfortable throwing that out there. It's an interesting question, but we just don't know enough yet.
Ask us in the FroYo for season 1 of Neo Rokugan and we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I skipped yours, Chura for Life, just because I don't know how to answer it.
Yet.
So if the House of Bells was still a thing, who would be most likely to go back there as a teacher? Oh, I have to
Oh,
answer
you
this.
should select one.
Boy. Sorry. I.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, did we all pick?
Ooh.
Oh, no, okay, not quite.
It
Did I
wouldn't
get
pick me.
Sorry, Gale.
That's fair.
I don't think
You
you'd
got-
want to share your information with
You
all
have bigger
kinds
eyes.
Well,
of people.
my lectures would last like 6 hours. It'd be.
I think people will just want to be hot for teacher.
I mean,
Well,
that's fair.
of course, but would
But-
Pyres want to be the hot teacher
Yes.
when he could be other things too?
He could have the attention of everybody,
the
guaranteed.
emperor.
Yeah, they're young.
Yeah, that is true.
He could.
Could you rephrase to a cyberpunk setting?
No.
Not really. I mean, the thing is, in this particular case, these characters exist in this setting, and cyberpunk is still very vague.
Mm.
I'm not sure how that. Screw it. You know what? Fine. We'll answer it. Cyberpunk. Which character would be the most likely to do well in a cyberpunk setting?
Based on what we know of it so far. Make sure I'm not blushing everything here.
3, 2, 1.
Information.
Nice.
Information.
The ability to deceive.
Fair.
Blend in. Absolutely.
But of course, that's not necessarily true either. Why is deception a more valuable thing than information?
Yep.
Who knows? Fuck it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's not like these
something
questions
big.
matter. Folks, it is getting on to that time.
It is.
Oh, Rigel.
Thanks for a fun time.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks
man, I need a
everyone.
weird appendage.
For amusing me.
So that's another
I love it.
FroYo in the books.
The old bagaroo.
Our first Froyo without Froyo.
True.
We had mochi ice cream.
Yeah. And Scott ate
You had
donuts.
5
4 out of
donuts.
Liz had one.
4 donuts.
Just
Here, take the last
there's no
one.
cat.
your
There's no cat
birthday.
eating our ice cream
There
this
you
time.
go. Well, that was. I'm sorry.
No, I love
I
that.
enjoyed that Photoshop. Okay, there's a
Yes.
photo of Liz holding Max, and there's a photo of Liz holding Froyo, and I just had to put them together.
You should go onto the Discord and find out what's going to be happening. I will point out that as we move into the holiday season, streams might become a little disrupted. We are still planning on having streams, but right away, these coming 2 Sundays, we are dark. We are not streaming because it's just not gonna happen. Fuck you. Wait.
So mean.
Damn.
What?
God damn.
We love you. We are taking 2 weeks off.
That's correct. Yes, that's a more
Shit.
But there are streams through the week. I know I'll be streaming at least this coming Tuesday. Chief Inspector Stryker is making a somewhat semi-triumphant return to some sort of. The kids these days are all on the Face Nook or something, and there's a mystery. Someone's missing, and he's gonna have to try to figure that out. So join us for some sort of digital mystery. We're playing Emily is Away, Heart, which I'm excited about.
Wednesday,
I'm going to be playing a game. I'm not sure what game it might be. There's a very solid chance it might be something that JT's been waiting for me to play for a very long time. Which would be something along the lines of Bloodborne.
Okay.
Maybe we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But there's going to be a game played. It might still be more Dead Cells. That's been a good time so far. Thursday, we'll probably will be streaming on Thursday would be my guess, and it was also most likely going to have to do with L5R. We might be talking about that, but we'll see. We're gonna come up with a stream that we'll be able to do for that because we aren't streaming on Sundays.
Friday, we are continuing the Punch Effect.
Thirst Effect. It continues.
The Thirsty Punch Effect. And that's at 6 Eastern on my channel. Saturday, we might not have Drew Crew, but we're not 100% positive.
Correct, yeah.
We might have other things on the docket.
Yeah. So stay tuned to the Discord. And then the next 2 Sundays, we are not back here.
But there is Punchy Book Club next Sunday.
Oh, sorry. Yes, of course.
It's our pizza party wrap-up.
Pizza party.
Sweet.
Good times. But of course, we will be catching you on this channel, well, on Thursdays, but also in the new year, which I'm really jazzed about.
Details will be on our social medias and our Discord, and you can catch our video uploads at their more or less usual times. So there will be more from us in the new year. So have a wonderful holiday season, folks.
I mean, look, we had a great season here, a great season because I got to share it with. I highlight these players a lot, and I think that that's reasonable. However, today I'm going to highlight all of you, whether you're watching it live, whether you're watching it on VOD, on Twitch, on YouTube, or listening to it in a podcast. It is a big reason of why we're doing this. We'd play if we weren't streaming it, but you bring something to the experience that really makes a big difference, and I want to thank you for doing that and for supporting us, whether it's through your subscriptions, through donations, all of which are very appreciated and helped us keep going through the pandemic and continually improve the equipment that we have available to us. If you spread the word about us, that also really helps. Helps bring new people in, and especially we've got some exciting one-shots coming up, got some exciting mini campaigns, and of course, our take on L5R in a cyberpunk setting with Neo Rokugan on its way. If you can, go get your double tap. It's really handy. If you can get your third tap, go get a third tap.
Why not?
Hell, get
Flu
7.
shot? Get a flu shot.
Get a flu shot.
Yeah.
My arm's finally not sore.
Because that's how we're going to get out of this one, and that's how we're going to continue heading.
Thank you, Kung Fu Veterans.
Thank you.
And also thank you, Kung Fu Veterans, for being Safety Wolf. That's really handy. Have a good night, folks. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.